Hello, droppers. We are live. Sorry, just getting these last minute settings in, and there we go. Good to go. Another Thursday live. This will actually be our last one. I know I said last Thursday was our last live stream, but it's actually going to be today because we already started uploading content to our Patreon and to our channel memberships. And we have a few new Patreons, a few new channel members, which is awesome. Slowly growing, but surely growing at the same time. And we are going to kind of take our foot off the gas pedal a little bit as far as this Thursday live stream goes, and put a little bit more focus into delivering consistent content on the behind the paywall, so to speak, with Patreon and channel members. Today's live stream should be a good one. This is an interesting one. This is kind of going off, it's going off of the Source Farm interview live stream that I had. I think we did about 2 Sundays ago, which was very, very interesting. And also just learn, I would say, a lot about the Source Farm and how they are structured and how they came together, and this amazing community that they created over the last few years. And we are going to be sitting down today with Dwight Shirley of Earthwork, which is the designer of the buildings at the Source Farm. And he's the brother of Nicola Shirley, who is the person that I interviewed a few weeks ago on the live stream. And so I'm very interested in talking to Dwight and learning a little bit more about Earthworks, and also the design of the dome homes that they have at the Source Farm. And he's a very, very busy guy, so it was really hard to get him, but I am very much excited to get him on the podcast. I do have a couple of articles. So he's coming on in about less than half an hour, 28 minutes or so. And I do have a couple of articles that I want to go over, but just want to do like a quick little catch up before that. We might only have time to do one article. But as I'm talking here and going through this, let me know where everybody's chiming in from, which part of the world, what country, what city, what state. It's always fun to hear. But a couple updates. I'm not sure if you all saw the community post that I had, letting everybody know that myself and Jamaica with Irina, we did a collaboration recently, and it was so much fun, tons and tons of fun. And her video will be coming out shortly. My video will be coming out on Saturday. I will be launching that. I'm in the middle of editing it, and I'm editing it now, taking time to do this live stream away from the editing. But as soon as this live stream is complete, back to the editing to make sure we hit the time for 12 o'clock on Saturday. We want to make sure that we hit that mark no matter what. So I'll have that for you, and I will be on time. But that is going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's probably been like a couple of years that you all have been telling me and also Irina that we should do a collaboration. And finally, we found the time. She's super busy, and as am I, of course. And this is a very, very hard thing to do, this YouTube thing. And I will say it was just kind of cool. It's always cool hanging out with other YouTubers. You just learn so much from them. And then they just understand this journey that we're on, and they understand the struggles. And you just don't got to explain anything, especially like when we were filming together. Like at first, like I was worried that she might be impatient with how I'm setting up and doing this. And then she felt the same way with her videos. And it was like, you just forget, like everybody understands, YouTubers understands this. There's nothing to worry about. And that was just kind of cool. And then just learning from her too, just learning from her, her methodologies, how she thinks, how she goes about doing her videos, and just so insightful because this is something like I always talk about on this channel, is like the importance of helping each other out, in particular Jamaican YouTubers. And we got to understand that we are, although I mean there is a competitiveness amongst each other for sure, but at the end of the day, we're here to really uplift Jamaica, and I believe that the better we as Jamaican YouTubers do, the better off we all are, as because the pie is just so big. And so the more that we can learn from each other, the more that we can collaborate, I think is better overall for Jamaica and for Jamaica YouTube in general. And the experience that Ari and I had together in our collaborations, I think was a testament to that. Because like I said, I just learned so much, and I wish I could hang out with more YouTubers and more Jamaican YouTubers. And hopefully in the near future, I will be. And this is like one of the mandates, if you will, that I've had for myself and the team is to do more collaborations with more Jamaican YouTubers, our influencers. We're even trying to get some I think there's a lot of great TikTokers out there, like super, super talented young people that we want to have come on the pod and learn about them and what they do and how they do it. Some of them that I find really, really entertaining. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing that on a more regular basis, a more consistent basis. So anyway, like I said, I have 2 articles that I want to get through rather quickly. So we'll do that. Let's see. We'll do that, and then we'll get into, like I said, in about 25 minutes, we will get into our guest that we have on today at about 4:30 or so. But let's get into some of the comments. MDL says, hi, Throp, Irina, and Throppers chiming in from Toronto, Canada. Nice to see you, MDL. Thanks for always being here. Allison Smith, Diary of a Vegan. Hi from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Good to see you, Allison. Nia Love, hey, Throp, watching from Queens, New York. Nice. Donna P is in New York as well. Millicent Watson says, hi, Throp, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you as well. Millicent B. Isaiah says, Throp, peace. A nice surprise. I can't stay for a whole live, but big hello from Toronto. I saw a story about the airport and a girl coming. Wow. Yeah, very exciting. We did pretty much, if you haven't seen, we did a live stream on Sunday, pretty much dedicated all to the airport that's coming. I should say the extension of the existing airport here in Negril to the Negril Aerodrome. And that wasn't intended to be the agenda for Sunday, but it just kept going and going and going, and everybody was interested, and there were so many different takes on it. Very, very engaging live stream. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend that you take a look on, and that this is this past Sunday. It was very good, and we'll have to circle back on that subject, because I think it's and you'll see in the article that we're going to get into in a second, like this is a huge game of chess, I would say. And there's it's just good to see long-term strategic thinking and strategy being put into place. At least this is to this side of the island, because I'm paying the most attention to what's happening here, obviously because I live here and I have vested interest here as well. So this is very, very exciting, and so I'm in conversation this afternoon along these lines, which I won't necessarily get into, but it's an exciting time for Jamaica as a whole. And then, of course, here out west, Joan Richardson says, hello, Throp, watching from Bermuda. Awesome. I got to get to Bermuda at some point. Never been. Olivia B says, hello from Brooklyn. Hello, Olivia. Okay, cool. Let's get into this first article. And not so good news, but I think it's something that we gotta talk about. Let me share my screen here. All right, so this came out yesterday. Jamaica, the stock market loses $5 billion on Monday. Index slides back to pandemic lows. So let's get through this quickly and see what's happening here. This is obviously a subject of high interest here in the Throp community, and we always talk about how well the stock market in Jamaica is performing, and it didn't do so well on Monday. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE. Hold on, I'm going to throw it in the comments. So if you want to read it yourself, you can do that. And we're sharing the screen here. So this was published in the Gleaner on April 5th. And the author is... Sorry, not seeing an author. Maybe as we go through, we'll see who the journalist is. Okay. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE, now hovers at just above pandemic lows following its slide on Monday that wiped out $5 billion in market value, suffering its biggest day of losses in at least 12 months to start the new quarter. The depreciation pushed the index to 1.5% above the crash levels of 2020. The JSE market continues to suffer from interest rate adjustments, which allow investors to make solid returns risk-free by holding government paper. The performance of the U.S. and Jamaican equity markets were influenced by the more restrictive monetary policies by their central banks, indicated by the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, in a recently released financial stability report. Central banks across the world have increased benchmark interest rates to cool inflation, which rose in response to U.S. printing of money, but also supply chain bottlenecks that rocketed shipping and commodity prices. In Jamaica, the BOJ increased interest rates 14-fold from 0.5% to 7% since September 2021 in a series of rate movements. Last month, the BOJ announced that it would keep rates at a stable 7%, signaling a pause in rate hikes. That said, the JSE combined index lost 0.01% of its value on Tuesday after sliding 2.66% on Monday, which wiped out $5 billion in value on the market, worth roughly $1.9 trillion, according to the JSE datasets. The last time the market dipped close to that quantum was 2.4% on January 4th, 2023, 2% on May 24th, 2022. On the day, heavy declines marked Monday's trading session, with 53 stocks declining and 35 advancing. For instance, 11 stocks declined by more than 10%, leading the declines was ISP Finance, JPS Preference Shares, both down 21%. Oof. Early in the year, brokerage firm NCB Capital Markets warned clients to expect volatility in the year due to interest rate movements. Furthermore, despite expectations for a peak, both inflation and interest rates are expected to remain elevated relative to historic and targeted levels for much of the year. Against this background, we recommend that investors focus on assets in defensive sectors, value stocks, and growth stocks with strong outlooks, income-generating opportunities, alternatives, and diversification, stated NCB Capital in its market bulletin. Growth stocks are fast-growing companies, mainly in the junior market, and value stocks are firms with large balance sheets on the main market. The Financial Gleaner sent queries to 4 brokerage houses for comment, but did not get a reply at print deadline. Specifically, the 2.66% dip on the JSE combined index to 343,122 points, hovered at 1.6% above the low point of around 337,500 points on March 25th, 2020. At the onset of the pandemic, comparatively, the index, which is now 35% below the August 8th, 2019 peak of 528,300. Wow, that's a big difference. So, yeah, Justin, I mean, just kind of good information to know what's happening. If you're paying attention to the U.S. stock market, there's extreme volatility there as well. I'm not gonna, weigh in too much. My advice with all of this stuff is really like we just need to continue to pay attention, as we are a community that is mainly focused on Jamaica, investing here, whether in the financial markets or in property and real estate. They're all intertwined. As these interest rates are going up, obviously it's also, money is expensive right now, capital is expensive right now, and it's just a lot of things to take into consideration. What this means, this $5 billion loss on Monday, and this going down to pandemic levels. I'm not sure. I can't comment in terms of what that means in the big picture. Is this a trend of things to come? I don't know, but I do know that the I do know that globally we are all connected, right? And what is happening in the U.S. with the the continuous increase in interest rates there is obviously going to have an effect on us. Maybe not obviously, but it is having an effect on us. Inflation up there, and it's a very weird time in the financial markets. It's a very weird time in the world as a whole. We have a war going on. We have inflation going up, interest rates going up, and like those are like two crazy things to battle at the same time from a monetary policy standpoint. I don't know the answer to it, and I obviously don't know what's going to happen. I don't I don't know if the powers that be know what's going to happen and when and how to handle it either. You're kind of seeing a volatility in the strategies that are being used to try and combat both of these things, right? Because when you have high interest rates, money is expensive, so it's also hard to grow the economy without an influx of capital. So it's like all these macroeconomic uh, just forces that are at play here, which makes economics extremely complicated. However, like I said, I don't want to weigh in too much here. My main goal is to bring awareness with what's going on in the stock market and kind of leave it there. The next article that I want to get into is more on a positive side, I would say. This is more of what we've been talking about. Let me just say a couple people saying hello in the comments here. Wayne Grant saying good afternoon. Joe saying hello, Throp and Throppers. Hello to you, Joe. I think we are linking up next week, just a few days, right? Donna Bryce, happy Easter, Winthrop, and everyone. Caribbean Queen says, wait, what? Airport coming to Negril? Yep, international now. So Negril already has an airport, the Negril Aerodrome, but we don't take international flights. So what they're doing is they're extending the runway. And the information that I'm about to give you is not something that I read, but really came from the Throp community. So please take it with a grain of salt. This is not my words, and I didn't read this anywhere either. But this was what people in the know in the Throp community were saying on the comments last week. This is a fact that the current runway of the Grill Aerodrome is 2,200 feet long. And what somebody said in the comments is that they're looking to extend it to 6,000 feet. So basically 6,000 change. So basically 3Xing it. So that's going to be bringing in, what would I say? Bringing in larger jets, but also somebody mentioned that in order to get like these huge passenger jet planes, the runway would need to be extended to 10,000 feet, which I don't know if there is enough space between the runway and the North Negro River to accommodate that. I have no idea. I'm not a civil engineer, and I don't, obviously that also comes with a lot of different facilities, parking lot, passenger pickup, all the things you can think that are related to a truly international airport hub. So I don't know if that space is available where it is, but yeah, the aerodrome is going to be runway is going to be extending, and it's going to be an international airport. Very exciting. Troy, how you doing? Great evening, beautiful people. Appreciate that. Seema, good to see you. Hello, Throp and Throppers. Okay, we've got about 10 more minutes. I want to just kind of get through this article. So we have for those just joining, we have a guest coming on in about 10 minutes from the Source Farm. He is Dwight Shirley's brother of Norma Shirley, who we interviewed a few weeks ago about the Source Farm, which was a very enlightening conversation. And Dwight is the actual architecture engineer of the domes that they have on the facility. He is in charge of earthworks, and so it should be a good interview and discussion. So we're going to have him come on in about 10 minutes or so. Hey, Sharif, thanks for joining. Shayna, good to see you. Happy Thursday between people. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for that. B. Isaiah says direct flight from Pearson, Toronto to Negril, Westmoreland. Sign me up. Tell me about it. I love that. Who knows if that's going to happen? Miss Cole, hello. How are you doing? Happy before weekend eve. I like that. HB, good to see you. Jenna says, hi, Throp, watching from West Palm Beach today. Excited to see Dwight. We'll be on today. My husband and I met him when we were in Jamaica last month. Worth the trip to St. Thomas. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, excited to have him on as well. All right, let's see if we can get to this article before we invite Dwight on. It's a short one. I'll throw this in the comments so you can have a read if you want. So, big tourism project for Hanover. This was March 25th, a few days ago. More than that, 11 days ago. Green Island, Hanover. So we kind of already went through this, but there's like slightly new information. So let's go through it quickly. Green Island, Hanover. Ed Bartlett is projecting that in 5 years, Hanover will be Western Jamaica's strongest tourism parish. Bartlett made the forecast Thursday during a visit to Princess Hotels in Green Island, Hanover. So you have 5,000 rooms right within the area, the Rhodes Hall in Orange Bay to Point in Lucy, Bartlett, the tourism minister stated, adding that Lucy, the capital of Hanover, is to become a tourism town, paving the way for it to be marketed for as a resort in the same way that we are to be marketing St. Thomas as a destination. Meanwhile, Delano Seawright, senior advisor and strategist in the Ministry of Tourism, told the Jamaica Observer that Grand Palladium Hotel in Point, Hanover, which has 1,000 rooms, is slated to double this figure, while Viva Wyndham Resorts in Rhodes Hall will be constructing 1,000 rooms. He added that Princess Hotel will officially open to the public January 2024 with 2,000 rooms. The three projects, he said, are expected to cost approximately $1 billion US. Early in the day, the minister, his team, and the member of parliament for Hanover Western, Tamika Davis, toured the historic Fort Charlotte Heritage Site in Lucy. Steve Wright said Fort Charlotte forms part of the development plans the government has for Lucy. While not providing details, Bartlett suggested a maritime experience for Fort Charlotte while addressing stakeholders in the grill later in the day. He spoke of a bypass road from Lucy, Hopewell, and Sandy Bay. We have an opportunity to create a new corridor in the northwestern wide of Jamaica, stated Bartlett. So I think that's like pretty exciting news. I think we knew of all this. The only one that I wasn't aware of was the expansion of Grand Palladium, essentially doubling its room count. So if you know Grand Palladium, that's in Lucy on the way from the airport. So let's bring up these maps here. And so there's basically a tremendous amount of rooms coming to the western part of Jamaica. So let's go up here. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so here's Grand Palladium here. Yeah, so here's Grand Palladium. They're putting 1,000 more rooms. I wonder where they're going to do that. Are they going to go up? Because there's not much room. I know there's this land here. I always see a for sale sign here on this land over here. I'm not sure what's happening with that. Maybe they have across the street. And then over here, I'm not sure if you all are familiar with here. This is a housing development. This is Ocean Point. And this is, I would say this is a pretty good investment. I know we don't talk a lot about Ocean Point, but it's a great location. It's like halfway between Negril, halfway between, it's definitely closer to Negril, but you can somewhat, I think it's closer, but you can somewhat say it's like right in the middle of Montego Bay and Negril. And I don't know if they have houses for sale there, but this is definitely something worth looking into. But I digress. We were talking about these developments. So they're putting 1,000 more rooms there. And let's go up to Princess. I don't even know if I could find this, to be honest. I'm not sure. Okay, Green Island, Green Island. Let's see if I can find this myself. Okay, so the other thing that they mentioned was Rhodes Hall. So I don't know if you're familiar with Rhodes Hall, but this, I believe, hold on. Yes, this has to be Rhodes Hall. Girl sign, Orange Bay, Half Moon Beach, Rhodes. Okay, we gotta be here. So Rhodes Hall is over here. Papaya Beach. This is it. Sorry. There we go. I got my bearings together. So apparently, according to this article, they're putting a large hotel, a Wyndham hotel here. I think they said was it 1,000 rooms? Let me see if we can hop back to that real quick. Oops. Let's see. Wyndham Resort. Yep, 1,000 rooms. So I'm not sure if that's Rhodes Hall, because there was a resort, the Rhodes Hall Resort, and I heard and understand it's been sold. So I don't know if it's the same people. I don't want to speak out of terms, but this is the old Rhodes Hall Resort, now known as Papaya Beach. So very, very close to Negril. Like it's right there. This is Negril, Orange Bay, Rhodes Hall. This is Green Island. This is where, oh, there it is. Okay, this is where the Princess Hotel is. Oh, got some updated Google imaging here. So this is apparently going to be the largest hotel in all of Jamaica. This is 2,000 rooms here. Pretty interesting. And this is like kind of when you come off the main road when you're going to when you're on the way to Montego Bay. So that kind of gives you an idea of what's happening here. Joe asked a good question. How do all the family-owned small hotels feel about this? So I'll say I always go back to when a certain Spanish hotel was coming into Negril. This was in early 2000s. And it was a very, I would say, scary situation for us as a really, I would almost say the small hotel community of not only Jamaica, but of the Caribbean. And it was a scary situation for us. And it's a lot of competition. And we were promised and told that these hotels wouldn't be going after the same clientele that we had. And lo and behold, after a few years, they did start going after them. And this was also during the global financial crisis. And at one point, I even believe that they were charging $50 a person per night for an all-inclusive experience at one of these hotels. And it's very obviously, like, you as a small hotel, you just can't compete on that. You can't compete on price. However, the way I feel is that we compete on experience, and we just offer a very different experience, and I'm not gonna, put their business model down or anything like that. But I do believe that our small hotels, the small hotels that we have here in Negril, we offer just a different experience. And there are travelers who love this all-inclusive. They pay their one price, and they don't have to worry about taking out their credit card or cash. They get all their drinks and alcohol included, and that's cool, and that's for those folks. That's for those folks. But there are also, I think, my belief is like the modern traveler, and maybe even the millennial traveler, dare I say, is more kind of want to be a little bit more immersed in the culture and more focused on experience. And when I look at Negril, and when we focus on our guests that we have here at Travelers, the best experience of a person can have of travelers staying at Travelers Beach Resort is not staying at Travelers Beach Resort, is actually, yes, enjoying a very comfortable hotel, and hopefully feeling like they got way more than they paid in terms of the hotel experience. But there's just so much to explore outside of the walls of Travelers, like different restaurants, different bars, talking with the locals, and having that experience that is just very hard to duplicate within the walls of any hotel. And that's why we really do push our guests to go outside our hotel to experience Negril as a whole, because there's a lot to offer there. And I'm not worried about it. Me and my brothers, and even speaking with other hoteliers, this is not something that we are highly concerned with. And it's more competition, to be honest. It's going to force us to step our game up as hoteliers. It's going to force other hoteliers in the Negril area to step their game up. And I would say for at least the beachfront properties, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Negril Beach. It's very hard. You can't duplicate 7 miles, 5 and 2 of white sand beach. I haven't been to their beach. Obviously, I've never been here. I don't know what this looks and feels like. I'm sure it's going to be an extremely beautiful, gorgeous hotel. But again, I just scroll down here and I look at Bloody Bay, I look at Long Bay, and we have our. It's hard. It's competitive. It's going to be extremely competitive, but we also very much do have our competitive advantages, even as small hotels. And like I said, this is going to really force us to step up. Just seeing if our guest is ready. I see you there, Dwight. I'm going to let you get settled a little bit. I see that the video is chipping in and out. You guys can't see this, obviously, but Dwight can hear me. I just want him to get settled before we invite him on the show. But good question, Joe. Good question. It's not something that we're ignoring or that we're, aloof to. At the end of the day, we realize that this is the reality. Capitalism is what's running Jamaica and the world in many respects, and that is just one of the things that we have to compete with. And who knows what other players are coming in on the horizon, and see the potential. And think about it. We always talk about on this live stream and in the podcast the potential of Jamaica and the diamond in the rough that Jamaica is. But I think that as a diamond, we're being dusted off, and people are slowly starting to see what's happening here and what's going on. And obviously the investors of the Princess Hotel clearly see that and are confident enough to put all this money into this investment. Moving forward, let's just wrap up here with a few more comments as Dwight gets settled in. Donna Bryce says, one of my friends bought a house in Ocean Point. Very nice. Yes, I've been there several times. I've looked at a few sample houses. I like it there as well. Donna Bryce also says some tourists are now splitting their stay in Negril between an all-inclusive and smaller hotel. Travelers to get a more rounded vacation experience. Yeah, we even have that. Many of our guests do that already. They'll stay here. They stay in an all-inclusive. Some of them do West End and beach. They split it half and half, and they're looking for this rounded experience. And I think it's a good idea. If you're usually all-inclusive, try a small hotel for a few days, and vice versa. If you're a small hotel person who stays in small hotels and you want to try something different, try an all-inclusive. You may love it and that's what you want to do, or you may hate it and be like, oh man, I want to go back to Travelers. Work both ways, but you got to do whatever makes you happy. And then Sima on the Move says 7 Mile Beach and the local Negril experience are competitive advantages. Totally agree. All right, I believe Dwight is ready there and waiting. And so, as I mentioned, we have a guest coming on today that is the architecture and designer of Earthworks, and they're the domes at the Source Farm. And a few weeks ago, we had an interview with Norma Shirley, who is the founder of the Source Farm and brought this community together in St. Thomas. And one of the people that we really wanted to talk to was the person who puts together the domes at the source farm. And if you can see by the thumbnail that we have on this video, they are very interesting structures, but there is more than meets the eye with how they're designed and why they're designed. And we have Dwight Shirley that we'd like to asked to join here in the stream to tell us a little bit more about it. Can you hear me, Dwight? We can't see your picture at this time. Oh, there you go. Dwight might be frozen. Yeah, let me know if you're able to clean up your feed there, Dwight, a little bit. I saw you there in the background adjusting it. Let me know if you need any more time. Yeah, Dwight, I think he's having some internet issues. I'm gonna bring him down, Dwight. I'm gonna put you back in the studio there, and I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about the that. Sorry, we lost him. All right, so we'll do it anyway. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the oncoming competition that's coming to Negril. And so the other thing that I had mentioned before, like weeks, probably months, maybe years ago, was, and as I mentioned earlier, the strategic chess moves that are being made and the long-term thinking with, at least this is how I take it and how I look at it, the long-term thinking of both private and the public sector. And one of them is a few years ago when the building ordinance was changed here in Negril. And for those that don't know, what it used to be is that you couldn't build in Negril, that is, you couldn't build taller than the tallest coconut tree in Negril. And that was like the rule since like 1950 or something like that. And so traditionally, Negril has been and continues to be a low density resort town development. And when Royalton came on board, it was very magical how quickly the ordinance changed, the building ordinance, and they were able to go up to 4 floors. And that, I would say, was the beginning of this new. Hold on, let's see if we can get Dwight on, and I'll continue that and shortly. Hey, Dwight, can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, we're not hearing you. Okay, hold on. I'm just making sure my speakers are on. Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry, Dwight. We're having some trouble hearing you, and you appear to be frozen. I hope we're able to get this thing going. Candice Afrika, if you can, could you contact Dwight and see if you can lend any assistance with him coming on with us? I believe Candice Afrika is on, so they should be assisting with this. Sorry, Dwight. We're gonna put you back down in the back room there to see if you can. Oh wait, hold on. He came back. Any luck? Sorry, everyone. The internet doesn't seem to be cooperating here. All right, we're gonna put him back in the backstage. So I'll keep talking about the Negril building ordinance until Dwight hopefully gets the internet sorted out. So anyway, we're talking about the tallest coconut tree in Negril. Royalton came on, that went to 4 stories. And I don't know what happened, but since then, the ordinance difference in Westmoreland and Hanover has changed. So In Westmoreland, you can go up. Excuse me. In Westmoreland, we're capped, I believe, at 4 stories. And in Hanover, as you can see from the map that we have here, well, you can't really see how tall that the Princess Hotel is, but they are going more than 4 stories. I don't know how tall, but more than 4 stories. And they are going to be, again, there's some YouTube videos out there of some drone footage showing the buildings going up. It's definitely massive, and it's, like I said, biggest room, most amount of rooms in Negril, 2,000 rooms. So anyway, bringing it back to Negril, Westmoreland, there is I wouldn't say a fight, but there is lobbying happening in regards to getting the Parish Council of, basically we want to have parity between the building ordinance in Westmoreland and Hanover, at least for Negril, because what's the difference between Negril in Hanover and Negril in Westmoreland? And I run between both of them every single day. And I understand they're 2 separate parishes, and we got to respect the delineation of the lines, and I understand that. However, when we at the end of the day, we're one Negril, and that was something that was always, it's kind of one of those things, like it's been a gift and a curse over the years. I would more so lean towards a curse in terms of this not having this centralized body of one Negril, and now it's split with these building ordinance. So anyway, there is lobbying happening, so like there would be parity between the two, and hopefully that does become a reality. Because to your point, Joe, of your question, is that'll also make us less competitive as well, because innately, if you think about it, that if a hotel in Hanover, and even along the same Bloody Bay here, and same size property as Travelers, but we just a little bit more north and happens to be beyond the boundary, but they can build 10 stories. And I'm not saying we're going to have 10-story buildings here, but I'm just saying, for argument's sake, they could go 10 stories and we can only go 4. That's a higher density, that's more room counts, that's more revenue. Obviously, their property is going to be valued way more than us down here, which isn't necessarily fair. So these are the things that I would say argue, or maybe even advocate for, in respect to becoming as competitive as, say, a Princess Hotel that is being built and will be opened January 2024, which is obviously less than a year, which is kind of crazy. But going back to the article, I would say too, it's just like listening to the ministers, like what he's saying, 5,000 rooms in 5 years, I believe. Yeah, 5,000 rooms. That's crazy. That's a lot of rooms. That's like a ton of rooms. And he basically has accounted for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 of them. And this is also taking into account that there are other hotels that are existing that continue to develop to add rooms. I've mentioned Sandals and Beaches are adding like very, very nice rooms. And I only know they're very nice rooms because I see like the architectural rendition of them when I run past them on the beach. And they're going to be beautiful, gorgeous rooms, like right on the beach, looking out at the Caribbean Sea. And hold on, let me see. You can pull that up. I don't mean to blow up their spot, but again, like it's just like having this unencumbered view of the sea. It's just like beautiful from a height of 2 or 3 stories or whatever it is. And it just kind of, again, goes to show you the confidence that these companies and these conglomerates have in Jamaica, despite all the challenges that we have as a company, as a country, not a company. I'm thinking corporate here. I'm sorry, guys. We're trying to get Dwight on, but I think he's having some technical difficulties. I would assume let's play it that he won't be able to, because that seems like an internet problem. But we'll see what we can do to get him on, and we can keep talking about Negril. I can talk about Negril all day. Shayna, some people don't like cookie cutter experiences. Less is more can be better. Yeah, I agree. And that's where I would say that Negril has this competitive advantage, because there's so many different types of experiences that you can get here from a small hotel's perspective, and not just the beach. Remind you, I think we have a whole different type of vacation experience on the West End and on the cliffs. Much more, I would say, like you have less hustle and bustle, a little bit more intimate. The views are amazing, especially if you're staying on a place on the seaside. It's also, the deep West End is also becoming I would say, a haven for people to move to, in respect to build villas and also build their homes. A lot of foreign direct investment is heading in that direction for homes on deep West End, which continues. I would say the deep West End is where, not say this is what it is, like that's kind of where Negril started as far as like accommodations go, because Negril used to be this fishing village, and the hippies used to pitch their tents up there and hang out on the beach during the day, and then they would go and stay up there, and that's kind of where Negril accommodations originated from. But even outside of that, there are still many Jamaican family-owned hotels in Negril that you could kind of get these very unique experiences, and we have very unique experiences different from Travelers to like Shirella Inn, Treehouse, all these different types of locally owned hotels. And there are also some great foreign-owned hotels as well in Negril that do a lot for our community and do a lot for Jamaica. Sorry, just trying to see if there's any progress with Dwight. It doesn't seem like it. What I will do is here, I'm going to give this is the website for Dwight. Because I'm not sure if he's going to come on, unfortunately. I'm very sorry about this, guys. But I just wanted to share his website and what they're doing. We're planning to do a collaboration with the Source Farm in sometime over the summer. Not sure which day, but they are, it's just so fascinating sitting down and speaking with Miss Shirley a few weeks ago. I learned so much. Nicola Shirley, I call her Norma Shirley earlier. Nicola Shirley, about the thinking behind and the premise behind the Source Farm. And they're basically a self-sustaining community, and like literally, like everybody has a job. This person cooks this day of the week. Just like mind blowing. Like as she was telling me, I was like, oh, this is so crazy. Like that this exists in Jamaica, and they've gone through. She's explaining like different iterations of our phases over the last. We've kind of moved here almost at the same time, 16, 17 years ago, and having just this like truly sustainability focused community in terms of even in their infrastructure and their construction. And Dwight was going to explain all of that to us and how that goes down, but that's unfortunate. But hopefully we can get him on in the future. But we are, like I said, we're going to be doing a collaboration with them at some point over the summer, and we want to go there, do a tour of the farm, sit down, do a podcast, hopefully do a little bit of work with them as well on the farm, and get it more into the details of what they do. And hopefully it's an idea that, and at least the construction of the domes that they have, like as an idea that I would love to see spread around Jamaica. It is NHT approved, which I think is pretty cool as well. So you can actually use your NHT loan towards building one of these houses if you would. So I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a lot of information on the website. You can take a look at it and see what you think. And hopefully, again, some point, Henrique is telling me he's trying, but the data Wi-Fi is bad. Wi-Fi is bad. So it's not looking too good, unfortunately. Sorry about that, everyone. But if you do have other questions, I do have some announcements that I want to make. So we can get into those little prematurely. I thought we were going to do this later. But if you do have any general questions, please let me know. If not, I'm going to get into the announcements as we continue to try and get Mr. Shirley on. Dolores says, hi, Throppin, everyone. Portlander in London, watching from the cool Rio Grande Valley of Millbank. Awesome. Nice to have you, Dolores. Calligraphy says, saw a thing recently for proposal of Greenwood ecotourism container villas just outside Montego Bay near Falmouth. Very cool. I'm not familiar with that. We'll have to look into that. All right, we will. Yeah, like I said, if you have any questions, if not, I'm just going to go into a few announcements here. So first, if you weren't here in the beginning, I did a collaboration with Jamaica with Irina, and we will have our videos coming out. Her video will be coming out shortly. My video will definitely be coming out on Saturday, and it should be a good one. Like, we had a lot of fun collaborating with one another, and I just want to make sure that you know about it. And definitely go subscribe to her channel, Jamaica with Irie, if you haven't already. If you don't know who she is a Ukrainian woman who moved here with her family about 9 years ago. And now she has become a Jamaican YouTuber, and she does a lot of incredible content relating to Jamaica. And she is a journalist by training, and really brings that intensity and that, I would say, professionalism to the YouTube atmosphere. And I think it's just such an amazing asset to Jamaica and to the Jamaican YouTube industry, if you will, Jamaican YouTube market. And it really was an awesome experience collaborating with her. And if you see the pictures on my community page, we sat down and she did a very in-depth interview with me and got some stuff out of me that you definitely never heard before. And I'm definitely not going to spoil it. And it was just interesting how thorough she is. I was just so impressed. And even before the video comes out, I'm already giving her flowers and praising her on how she just conducted the interview. And I learned a lot from her as well. And that's like the awesome thing about doing these YouTube collaborations, because even when I collaborated with Jessica Cargill, same thing, learned so much from her. And you just kind of just like observe, at least I just kind of like observing how they operate, how focused they are, and like the intensity. I'm like, man, I see myself in them. And I was like, man, this is just so cool that somebody else is taking this deadly serious as I am. And it was just so cool to just be in the atmosphere, to soak up the seriousness, the intensity, the passion really that they have for their channels and their creative process. And Irina was no different at all. So I really got that. And it was inspiring and, gave me a little bit more of a spark. And I think, like I said before, I think this should be more. There should be more of this. And I'm reaching out to other YouTubers, Jamaican YouTubers, to do more of these collaborations. Let me know who you think else that I should be collaborating with. I'd love to hear who we should reach out to have on the podcast, to do a collaboration with. Let me know if there's anybody that we should be doing that. When I sat down with Iria, when she sat down with me, we went kind of like toe-to-toe, back and forth about who our favorite Jamaican YouTubers are. So that's also something that was pretty cool. So that's coming up shortly in the next few days. So stay tuned with that. We have our newsletter coming out on Monday. So we're trying to get our newsletter out once a month. Eventually, we want to get to a point where our newsletter is being published every single week. But right now, we're doing once a month, and that'll be Monday. And one of the main things that's going to be in the newsletter, I'll spoil it since you're here already, is the sale for the tickets for ThropX is coming out basically Sunday. You'll be able to buy your tickets. So ThropX 2023 is on. For those who don't know what ThropX is, it's a Jamaica investment conference, and we had it in November of 2022, which was like amazingly successful. And it was literally built from this live stream. So we did, and this is why we have this second live stream, which this will be the last of for quite some time, probably until the summer, and then we'll bring it back as we get into ThropX. But anyway, we didn't do any advertising whatsoever for ThropX 2022. It was literally, I would say, a community-built event. I would come on these live streams, get ideas from you guys, what and who you wanted to see, what subjects, what topics that you wanted me to cover. And then I did my best to kind of go out and get those people and those panelists. And then even the itinerary was designed as such. And everybody, if you didn't come to the live streams, you never heard about ThropX. Did we have an Instagram? No, we didn't even have a ThropX Instagram leading up to it, because I was like scared. I didn't have the confidence that this was gonna work. People were gonna show up, if people were gonna buy tickets. And thanks to you, the Throp community, the Throp live stream community especially, it was unbelievably successful. And I'm very happy to announce that I already announced it, but announce it again, that we'll be doing ThropX 2023. And it's going to be definitely bigger. We're looking to double the amount of people. Last year I think we peaked at 22 total people who bought tickets for the entire time. And then we probably had about 10 to 15 day passes each day that people came in and hung out with us for the day, which was kind of cool. So now we're looking to double that, and we don't want to, it's not going to get any bigger than that because of the capacity of the conference room. And it's important to me that we keep this very intimate, and this is not something that I'm trying to make like $1 million off of. Like, a matter of fact, we lost tons of money last year, which I knew, like, and my whole thing was like, I didn't think that this was going to be profitable until like year 3, year 4. And like, I was prepared for that. And the priority for me was putting on a world-class Jamaica investment conference that was home here in Negril. And that was accomplished. And that's going to be the same goal for 2023, have a world-class Jamaica investment conference that has its home here in Negril. And we're going to continue to do that and continue to build off of that. Super excited. We had a great meeting this morning about it in terms of like setting the itinerary. It's going to be 2 extra days. So it's actually going to be November 13th to November 17th of this year, obviously. And you can go to thropx.com. I'm just going to put that in the chat. If you want more information, we are still building out, updating the site. So that will be, the official announcement will be on Sunday. So we'll be ready for that on Sunday with all the up-to-date information. But if you haven't, you can sign up for the newsletter to make sure that you get any updates as it relates to ThropX. If you were part of the live stream leading up to ThropX last summer, we were basically releasing a speaker every week as we were leading up to ThropX 2022. And we're going to do something similar this year as well. So we are going to have, the guests we had were amazing. You guys are already seeing the slow release that we're having of the footage and of the panels that we have. So if you haven't already, they're on my channel. You can kind of get a sense of I would say, the quality and value of the information being sent across to those who are viewing. And then we also have live stream our virtual tickets available. So if you can't make it in person, you can buy a virtual ticket as well. So yeah, this is going to be announced officially on Sunday during the live stream, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if I want to advertise this, because I do want to keep this, not that I want to keep this Throp community only, but it was just so awesome And if you came, you know what I'm talking about. It was just like such a family feeling and such a family environment, because it was just like all like-minded individuals that were part of this online community, and like everybody came together in real life. And just like you have all your usernames here, it's just like we were connecting. Everybody has like different names. Like, I don't know who uses their real names. We'll use Havrika for example, like a virtual design studio. So obviously nobody would know who virtual design studio is. And then when we met in real life, like, oh, this is Havrika. Nice to meet you. And then like you're putting, at least for me, especially interacting with you all here on the live stream. And I remember many of your names, especially those of you who are very like engaging and active, and then putting a face with the name and then the screen name with the real world government name was just so cool. It was a lot of fun. And we also did a survey. So a lot of the itinerary and how it's designed for this year is going to be based off of, at least the adjustments that we're making is going to be based off of the survey information that we collected last year. So very, very excited for ThropX 2023. And like I said, we're still going to continue to keep it very intimate, very small. I don't think we're going to go over, I don't want it to be over 50 people who buy the week long or the 5-day pass, so to speak. And because then it's just like, I also felt like I built a relationship with every person that was in the inaugural event, and many people who came. I see Seema in the crowd there. We still talk to this day, whether it's through Instagram, through text message, through email. We're still in communication, bouncing ideas off of each other, them letting me know what's up. If they need information from me, I give it to them. And I want to continue to harvest these relationships. And I feel like once we get into, over 50 people or 100 people or 200 people, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that and also give the same type of intimate experience. Not to say that we won't grow past that, but we will definitely have to come up with a different model if we do. So that's the announcement. ThropX 2023 is on and popping. Tickets will be available for sale on Sunday. And if you want to sign up for the newsletter, please go ahead, because we're going to continue to, the newsletter is going to be one of the main ways to keep everybody up to date with what's happening with ThropX. And like I said, for right now, probably the next few months, it'll be a monthly newsletter. And then eventually we're going to ramp it up to a weekly newsletter. Let's hop into the comments real quick, and then I will continue with the podcast. And sorry if you're just joining and you're expecting an interview, but unfortunately, Dwight Shirley, who's the person we're going to be interviewing on the domes from the source farm, is having a little bit of technical difficulty. So hopefully we can get him back at some time in the future, but I don't believe we're going to be able to get him on the live stream today. And that's okay, because we're going to go out there in the summer. We're going to do this live. All right. B Still says, where exactly is the source farm? It is in St. Thomas. Exactly where in St. Thomas, I am unsure. But it's in St. Thomas, all the way on the other side of the island. Lenny James says, Irina is the best. I agree, she is. Christopher Loman says, please connect with Wilfred Radigan. I don't know who that is. Haven't heard of him. Havrika Candice, can you just make a note of that? I'm assuming that Wilfred Radigan is a YouTuber, because I asked if you guys have any YouTubers that I should reach out to and connect with and maybe do some collaborations with. Let me know. We'll make a note of that. Thank you, Chris. Joe says, maybe you can do a podcast on all the 20-something-year-olds that have moved to Jamaica and started these lifestyle channels about living in Jamaica. Give me an example, Joe. I don't know about this. This is the first time I'm hearing. Who is a 20-something-year-old that moved to Jamaica? Actually, I don't mean to. We are doing. There's a YouTuber that we're collaborating with in a couple of weeks that we're having on the podcast. So at least I know one. So they're going to be coming on. They moved to Jamaica from the States and is living here. And they're going to be coming on the podcast. So let me know who who you're alluding to, or if you have any other people, a list of these people, I would appreciate that, Joe. Neilov says, what's the best Paris/city for ecotourism? I would like, off the top of my head, the first Paris that came to my mind was St. Elizabeth. I feel like they kind of like put themselves. They're kind. I feel like their community tourism, ecotourism, like they're kind of like almost marketing themselves as that. And then I would also think of Portland. That would be those. That's 1 and 2, and that's not necessarily in that order. But those are the number 1 and 2 parishes, or 2 and 1 parishes that I would say come to mind. Calgary says her movie about the students in the Ukraine is really, really good. Yes, that's talking about Irina. Exceptional, I would say. Exceptional. She did an amazing job with that. Shayla Coaching says Russia Lynn would be a great collaboration. Yeah, me and Irina said that as well. I was actually trying to get her before Irina, like in my mind, that is. But then the pandemic happened, because I saw Irina and Russia Lynn do a collaboration, and I think she has like an amazing personality, super bubbly, very positive, and would have loved to have done a collaboration. But I understand she has moved to the States now, which doesn't mean she can't come on the pod, right? Maybe when she comes back, that would be good. I think, yeah, that would be great. I would love, we could do a live stream, but I'd much rather have her come on live. So if she's watching, or if you guys watch her videos, let her know next time. Come back in. She can come back next time she comes to Jamaica. We'd love to have her come out, but we'll reach out to her definitely. KFN says, can I watch the live online for ThropX? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So ThropX 2023, you can buy a virtual ticket and you'll get all the days available that you can live stream. And then you also will have access to the replays for that as well in the future once it's complete. So if you can't make a day, for example, you will be able to rewatch it at your leisure in the future, at a future time that works for you. Oh, okay. There you go. I'm just realizing Joe is updating everybody in Russia Lynn. She says she moved to Georgia. Yep, she's in your neck of the woods, and she got married. I didn't know. You spilling this girl's business. And Shane is saying, "What, you got all the tea?" Yes, Joe has all the tea. Devine, good evening. Shane says, "Yep, same. YouTube is my TV. I rarely watch TV. Same with me. I consume YouTube all the time. Seema on the Move says ThropX 2022 was great. Met some awesome people who I'm still in touch with and who have become friends. Yeah, same here. I feel like I talk with somebody from ThropX 2022, if not every day, multiple times per week. I'm texting or on the phone with somebody who is at ThropX 2022, and that's no exaggeration. And that just kind of shows you that's just a testament to the conference itself and the quality of people who were there. And like, I consider them my friends. Like, I really do consider them my friends. And it was like I said, like, it felt like family, like right off the bat, because like everybody is kind of in the same progressive mindset of just, Jamaica. So kind of that's what brought us all together at the end of the day. All right. It's Perfectly Imperfect says, hello, everyone. Hello. Donna Bryce says, remember to hit the like, everyone, like button. Yeah, that would be great. Much appreciated. Key FN says, there's one out of Canada who I watch, Anisha Adams. I know Anisha Adams. She's on the list. Thank you. Rosalind is good. Yes, everybody loves Rosalind. Thank you, Lenworth. Thank you, Key FN. Hutchinson Johnson says, big up Throp. Very good job, brother. Thank you very much. Seema on the Move says, the Jamaican tourist plan is to position St. Thomas for wellness, history, and ecotourism. Yeah, and Mm, there is, I don't know it, but like there is a development that is happening in St. Thomas that I just found out about. A what would I say? A particular real estate company actually reached out to me about this development happening and to come on the channel to talk about it. So I haven't looked into it. The team hasn't looked into it, but we figured it out. But it's just the buzz is there. I feel it in the community here with St. Thomas being, dare I say, the next frontier. As the minister is saying, the next 5 years, the Northwest corridor is going to be X. I don't know where. I feel like St. Thomas, is it going to be along the same timelines? I think it's a little bit further down the line than that, but it seems like a good time to get into St. Thomas, just from what I'm hearing. And again, this particular real estate company has reached out to me about this development that I haven't heard about, that seems to be coming online soon. And it's something that is constantly talked about in this community. So just one of these things to take into consideration. And in my mind is that, I won't say take into consideration, but keep my finger on the pulse of. Thank you for that, Seema. Joe says, Anisha Adams moved from Toronto. Bianca moved from Buffalo, New York. Oh, I know Bianca. I don't know her, but I follow her. But I know you're talking about, yeah, Henrika, if you could make a note of her, Bianca, I think she would be a great person to get on the pod. We're going to reach out to all these people. You could send them this clip that we're going to be reaching out. Like they all make amazing, great content, and that I consume, that I'm subscribed to. Shayna Love Coaching says, this can be a future idea. Host a Jamaica YouTube conference workshop, kind of a meet and greet type thing. Just an idea for the future. Reference our portion of ThriveX 2024 another time. So I think that is such a dope idea, Shayna. Can we combine the two? I'm not sure. Can we combine like ThriveX and this? I'm not sure. This is an idea that I had before ThriveX, to do a YouTube conference in Jamaica. I believe they had one earlier this year in Kingston, but I think a big Jamaica YouTube conference would be amazing. Getting all the Jamaican YouTubers together, but then also getting like a 10 million plus YouTube subscribe channel as maybe a keynote, or maybe a bunch of them together, because I feel like we have so much to learn as Jamaican YouTubers, and we can benefit from learning from these much larger channels, best practices, tips and tricks, all that sort of thing. I think that would be amazing if we would be able to accomplish that. So yeah, we'll see. I think that's a good idea. We'll definitely make note of that. I would love to even just do just like a meetup somewhere. I've seen that done a couple of times, but it's mostly like female like influencers. Like I've only seen that with like, and maybe that's although I follow, I don't know, but that's like what that's the only I've seen. But I haven't seen any meetup like, hey, let's do this meetup at Rock House, or at Miss Lily's, which I go to all the time. That's a good idea, Shayna. That's a good idea. At least do a lower level of that, and then eventually, like you said, do a big YouTube conference. I think that would be amazing. Great idea. Thank you, Shayna. Just Time chiming in from LA. Or am I reading that right? LA? Are you chiming in from LA, or is LA Lewis a YouTuber I should reach out to? Let me be clear on that, please. Just Time. Lenworth says Elite Jamaica official channel would be a good one. He has been traveling a lot of historical sites and ruins in Jamaica, exposed a lot of Jamaican history. I just found out about this channel. Very good. I agree. We'll make a note of that as well. Just found out about that channel. Forever says Rosalind fly out long time. She has. Let's see. Seema says, love that idea, Shayna. Yeah, and I want to get more YouTubers to the ThriveX conference. That's also an idea that I had. All right, I will try to make that happen. Because I think it would be cool because, because many of you follow other Jamaican YouTubers, and I think it would just be like such an awesome thing to give you all an opportunity to meet some of them, and then also they get to meet some of their subscribers as well. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Havrika, let's make a note of that. Get Jamaican YouTubers to ThropX 2023. It may not be like I'm just thinking about the itinerary that we put together. It may not be something that, what would I say? That could be part of the itinerary that we have because it's really jam packed. And like this is one of the feedbacks that we got, that it was like everybody loved the value of that we were giving, but like it was just like super compressed. And this is why we extended it a couple of days. And even with the extension, like I feel like we still don't have enough time because there's so much information that I think is like really important. And there are so many people that I think is important for you to hear their message and allow them to bring their expertise to the forefront here. And I'm just like, man, we're going to have to make some hard choices. So now to add Jamaican YouTubers in this, that's going to be tough. That's going to be really, really tough because it's kind of packed out as is. But we'll figure it out. Neil Love says, Taja, unique move to Jamaica from America. Interviewing her would make great content. We'll make a note of that. If you can make a note of that again, Havrika. Miss Cole says Bianca moved back to USA. Did she? I had no idea. I guess I haven't been keeping up as well as I thought. Okay. Yeah. Shayna Love Coaching says keep it separate. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it will be hard to kind of bring it together. Shayna says Dutty Berry show. He does commentary. All right, we'll make a note of that. Funny guy, entertaining guy. Calligraphy says Sasko and his wife is doing a big farm thing. Oh, I didn't know that. All right, we'll make a note of that. Sasko. We'll put that on the list of Rika. Joe says also jet setting with Jackie. She just started a channel, moving to Jamaica. I don't know who that is. All these people I haven't heard of. Cool. Cola HB says Cola Smith TV, like that he gives back to others. Never heard of this person either. Making all notes of this. I am what I am. I enjoyed the last Drop conference. Awesome. Happy to hear. Channel of Coaching says, if included, at Throp X, it would be a breakout session. Right. Yeah. Panel of YouTubers. Yeah, that would be great. I was trying to do that last year, but the YouTube, it just couldn't work out. I was just trying so much to, they were like two particular YouTubers, but it just didn't work out. We're going to try again to see if we can get YouTubers. Yeah, doing that, we take away from something else. So we just have to make that hard decision. You know what? We have maybe we can do, so I guess we can let the cat out the bag with this. You're going to see it anyway. So we're doing a boat ride, a catamaran boat ride. That's part of the itinerary. So maybe that's something that we can invite them to, and they could do the panel on the boat. I feel like that will be fun. I don't know what you guys think, but even though we're doing the boat ride, like our thinking, the catamaran is like, that's great. It's awesome. It's going to be fun, but there has to be an additional goal. There has to be some value given on this boat ride, right? And one of them off the bat is that in my mind, it brings the perspective, at least from the waterfront, and gives you an idea of what the coastline looks like, both on the beach and also West End. I think that's very, very important to have that visual in your head and to understand that if you're going to be potentially investing in Negril, because hopefully I think that would give you a lot more confidence and see why, especially West End. I love the West End, why that it's as valuable as it really is. So there's that. And then we also want to give value in terms of some sort of educational value. And maybe that could be an opportunity for the YouTubers to do that and have the panel there. It obviously wouldn't be a panel, but it will be something. I'm thinking out loud here. If this is a stupid idea, let me know it's a stupid idea. That's okay. But we can brainstorm this. We can work this out as we go through. Shannon Love Coaching says it can be a one-day session of ThropX or bonus segment. Okay. Joe says, I better learn how to swim by the next ThropX. Yeah, it's a good goal. You have a few months. There will be life jackets too, so don't worry about that. Hey, Suzette, thanks for joining. We don't have our guest today, unfortunately, Suzette. We're having a little technical difficulties, so it's just us chatting and hanging out for a little bit. Andrew Blake says Richard Brown films. Yes. Okay. Please, Enrica, make a note of him. I forgot about him. I don't know him, haven't met him, but I've watched his videos on YouTube. Thank you for that, Andrew. Great idea. I am what I am. Have you considered breakout workshops for special interest groups for the next conference? So great idea. That's what I was thinking of doing. That you have and this is how it's been in other conferences. Like you have the main conference room, and then you have like smaller conference room for specified special interest, if you will, breakout workshops. Yeah, that could be a possibility. We don't have multiple conference rooms here at Travelers. That's the only thing. How would you see us doing that? I am what I am. You kind of know the layout. How would you see us doing that? How could that work if that is something that we were to pursue? Just interested to see what you think. Kay says Claudia Davis. Don't know who that is either. Making a note of them. I am what I am says breakout workshops for special interest groups is a really productive way to cover a lot of divergent topics. I think this is a great idea. I'd love to hear if you have an idea of how we could do it and where it could be, given the limitations of the property, and we'd only have one conference room. Beach Rock Maxim says, hey Throp, Annie here in Portland, Oregon. Will be in Treasure Beach on Saturday. Thanks for your work. I'm looking forward to your next conference. Awesome. Thank you for joining us here today. Heading to Treasure Beach at the end of the month for the Jake's Triathlon. We are doing that. Hopefully the whole team is coming out. We're trying to make it happen and trying to turn it into an episode. So that'll be my second race of the year. I've been injured the last 6 weeks, unfortunately. Had a strained meniscus on my right knee. So starting to run almost every day now. So no big deal. But we'll be in Treasure Beach. And if you guys are going to be around, you're going to be in Treasure Beach at the 29th, I believe it is, the triathlon. Come on out. It's an awesome event. Would be amazing if you guys came out, and anybody in the area. I'm not saying go buy your plane ticket and come to Treasure Beach, but if you're in the area and you want to come out and support the event and say hello, that would be awesome. Chris Grant says Tammy Chin and Wayne Marshall channel. Yeah, love them. Very, very good. We've actually reached out to them. We're going to try again to reach out to them and try to get them on. Good idea. Let's go. Just Time says Elite Jamaica. Yep. Somebody mentioned them before. I just found them. We're definitely going to reach out to them. Born Under the Clock says, Throp, one of the highlights of the conference last year was looking at various properties. Are you still keeping this feature? Yes. So, and for those that were there, if you correct me if I'm wrong, but I felt like that was we did the property tours in Negril, in the greater Negril area. And then we had to rush back to get ready for the farewell dinner. So we're not doing that anymore. And because I'm all about energy management with events. And so, Yeah, it's sitting on the bus for the most of the time, but like it's hot. Yes, we have AC and everything like that, but still we want to make sure that the energy is still up and people are enjoying it, which I think it was the case. I think everybody enjoyed the tour, but what we want to do is just kind of keep that as a standalone day activity because it does take a lot of energy. And then in the late afternoon, give everybody the evening off. So that's kind of what we came up with when we were laying out the itinerary. But yes, absolutely, we will do the property tour. We're actually working on the video because we did drone videos and video of the property tour. So we're going to be releasing that at some point. But we got all this other content that we're working on, but we haven't forgot about that. But yes, thank you for bringing that born under the clock. Calligraphy says Kalaz Smith does interesting cooking things. Don't know who that is. I would love to do a cooking show because I don't cook, and I don't want to do the cooking show, but like have somebody that does the cooking and create a show about it or something like that. But we'll reach out to Kalaz and see what that's about. Del Pratt family, I follow them as well. They are on the list. Thank you for that. He said, Chris says, it's a great channel for investing in property. YouTube as an income stream when moving to Jamaica. Is that a panel, Seema? I think that is a good idea. It's a good brainstorming session, which I didn't intend to have. Ebony, thanks for chiming in. Hi there. Dolores says, hi, Throp and everyone. Okay, we got you already. Is that an old? She just, okay, reposted that. Oh, Ebony X says, Anna Novia, Jamaican Hidden TV, Junior Lifestyle, Andre Stevens are all great ideas. Marking that one down. Thank you for that. Beach Rock Maxim says, looking forward to seeing you. Same here. Shane, I love coaching. Other alternative, invite a few to come to ThropX as content for their channel. Then just the next year, host a YouTube panel breakout session. Just a thought. Good idea. No matter what, we're gonna try to get some YouTubers to come. No matter what, I think that's the idea. Sonia Ross says, I'm gonna have to watch the replay. I love Earth Homes. Unfortunately, Sonia, the guest that we had come on, it couldn't make it, had some technical difficulties. So we've just been hanging out for the last hour and a half and brainstorming ThropX and brainstorming future Jamaican YouTube guests here. So sorry about that. We're gonna try to get them on at some point in the future, but we will be doing a collaboration in person with them and the source farm sometime over the summer. Kalia, yeah, Kalia is on the list. Thank you for that. Just time. Calligraphy says Teaching channel is great. He's basically documenting Jamaica's reggae artists. He's also a geography teacher and has lots of info about Jamaican geography, underground water supplies. All right. Man, we got a lot of great ones here. Ebony X says, who's a young lady that is the host? That's Amashika Lauren. She is an amazing, amazing host. Like really, really pull the conference together. And if you aren't following her, if you aren't following her on Instagram, definitely follow her. She's a great follow. I think she's just like she's a gem of Jamaica, honestly. I'm trying to get her Instagram for you. 1 second. All right. Putting the link in there right there for you, everybody. If you would, I would much appreciate it if you could follow her on Instagram. Just click that link if you can in the comments, and you can follow Amashika. Yeah, she did an amazing, amazing, amazing job as the ThropX host, and she better come back for ThropX 2023. Not guaranteed. we haven't like put it in pen and ink, but verbally, that's the idea, and we'd love to have her back. I think she did a phenomenal, phenomenal job. She's an amazing person, amazing soul. and great to work with. Super professional. Thank you for asking that question, Ebony X. Andrew Blake says, Jamaica, good life. Roddy Pottinger. We are actually supposed to collab when I first started my channel. So crazy before the pandemic, but he's actually stayed here at Travelers, and yeah, we just crossfire, miscommunication just didn't happen. But yeah, we're gonna make that happen. Thank you for that reminder, Andrew. I'm screenshotting that. I Am What I Am says breakout workshops don't require conference rooms per se because they don't follow a speaker panel centric model. With roundtable workshops, for instance, facilitators help all parties share in active participation. I like that. We're going to take that in consideration, and maybe, yeah, like seriously, we're going to see if we can do something of that nature. Thank you for that idea. I think that's excellent. Joy Marie says, I love cooking, but I only share on IG. Okay. I love cooking too. I wish I could do more of it, but I can't. Lenworth Lewis says, SFJ Lifestyle. They do a lot of outdoor activity, spearfishing. Got them. Beach Rock Maxim says, Throp, I have my own beachfront villa in Treasure Beach, but I was thinking of breaking into Negril, maybe just renting. Do you think that is possible, Annie? Definitely. I mean, beachfront in Negril is extremely expensive. There are on the beach. There are a handful of villas on the beach on the strip here, but they're rare, and not to say it can't work. I think that they work. Like, people are renting them. I could tell you that when I run by, I always see people at these villas, especially these newly built ones, and they look absolutely beautiful. I also think the West End is a great place to do a villa. There is, man, I forget the name of it. At some point, I'll look into it and we'll talk about it here. But there's a newly built villa on the West End, the deep West End. Makes me want to bring up the map here. So let me do that, as a matter of fact. All right. So again, context: Negril, 5 mile, 2 mile, Long Bay, Bloody Bay. This is Travelers. We are now moving to the West End, coming down here, and let's go to deep West End. So Rick's Cafe, which is still regular West End, if you will, and we're still moving basically South Coast at this point. When you get past the lighthouse officially. And so this is Little Waters Villa. Beautiful villa. We were just looking at it today. I think this is it right here. And again, kind of moving down to this is definitely deep West End. So this is the Cliff Hotel. I always say I think this is the most beautiful hotel in Negril. Like, really beautiful. Great restaurant, Zest restaurant as well. There's I think they focus on weddings. Every time I go there, there's not so many people there, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me. I always feel like I have the whole place to myself. Again, the food there is excellent. Beautiful property. Just absolutely gorgeous from top to bottom. Anyway, this is continued deep West End. So basically, this is where a lot of people have been purchasing land and building villas. So it's very hard to see, but if you can imagine this view off this cliff, it's beautiful, absolutely stunning. And you get that all the way here, all the way down. And, I don't know if these properties are for sale or anything like that, but all of these properties have this amazingly beautiful view looking over the ocean, over the sea. And this is coming down. So what has happened is that a lot of people, from what I understand, are buying these properties and putting up villas. And this is like very much how, I don't know where your villa is, Annie, but it's I don't know the name of that road, but in Treasure Beach there is just this road that is just like villa, 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 villa. And this is kind of what this is turning into. This is what I'm seeing when I drive down there. I see this construction. It's just like this deep West End road I can see turning into just villa after villa after villa after villa. This is low traffic, low density. This is not a lot of cars and bikes going. It's not the best road in the world. I'm going to be honest about that. But nonetheless, it's secluded, it's intimate, it's super quiet. And I see why this appeals to this type of builder villa lifestyle, that sort of thing. And this again is deep West End. Blue Sky Villa, Point Lookout, Pelican Lookout. I'm not sure if they're still okay. They are open. Let's see, we're gonna go to it. This is kind of I wanted to do a video on them. This is like one of Negril's hidden gems, I think. Good food, nice little view there. It's like it's a nice spot that a lot of people don't know about. And this is it. This is what it looks like. Very artsy, very creative. Always have fresh fruits, fresh coconuts. This is it. In the evening, beautiful spot, lovely spot, great foods. Like everything is fresh there. A lot of people don't know about it, but this is definitely one of these little nooks and crannies of Negril. That's on the hidden gem side, if you will. But anyway, did not mean to do that. Let's get back to our Deep West End tour. So this is where I would say is a great location to do a villa type situation. And from what I understand, there's still a lot of these lands that are available. And this is still Deep West End. We're still going here. If you know, this is where that big, nice hotel that just never got started. If you know what I'm talking about, it's closed, but it got developed to this point. I don't know the story behind it, but then it never opened. I understand it was like some family issues, and unfortunately it never opened. But I think that would have been an amazing addition to this part of Negril. Anyway, then we go down this road, and then this is still West End Road, and then this is where you get to Jackie's on the Reef. So this is Jackie's on the Reef here. This is West Ender Inn over here. And if you've been to Jackie's on the Reef, like this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This is where you get your massage, outdoor water hitting against the cliffs, the rocks, and cool breeze every time. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say is like a good location to do villas, and it seems to be trending in that direction. Long rant, but let me keep going here. Okay. Sonia Ross says, okay, too bad, but Val's Kitchen is a Jamaican cooking channel. Yum. I will screenshot that. Wow, getting so many good suggestions here. Just Time says, Aris Island Girl, Jamaica. Haven't heard of her. Seema on the Move says Amashika was excellent. Ebony X says she was amazing. She asked great questions. She definitely did. Jamaica Spearfishing, another YouTube. Yes, I love Jamaica Spearfishing. Great channel. Great channel. I love what they do. Chris Grant said it'd be interesting for us, the viewers, to see you film someone purchase or build a house in Jamaica from soup to nuts. I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. I'll just leave it at that. To document the whole thing. Good idea. I am what I am with SIG. Okay, we're talking about the round table, breakout tables, workshops, the poolside, the bar, the cabana by the tree. All sites where breakout groups can convene. Does not require conference room. Only good ideas. Love this. Great idea. I'm going to definitely take this into consideration. I'm glad we're talking about this. I am what I am says I'm a professional workshop facilitator by way of PhD. Okay, fanciness. Okay, I like it. Thank you. I like it. I'll take all the suggestions I can. This is a great idea. Calligraphy says the Kalas Smith team of guys is great. Their origin story is awesome. Best part is how he and the team gives back all the time. Thought it would be great to see you cook, run a boat with them. Okay, I'm going to screenshot that. Thank you. ER says Kino Life in Jamaica is a great channel. He's doing great things in Trenchtown for people who need help with donations from viewers. Awesome. Beach Rock Maxim says, thanks for showing me the West End. I love cliffside views. My villa is on the cliffside in Fort Charles, Treasure Beach. Okay, cool. Very nice. Shane of Coaching says, I love this live stream transformed into a think table session. Yeah, many great minds in this chat. I agree. Think tank session, many great minds in this group. Yes, I agree. Beach Rock says, I will visit Negril when I come to Jamaica. Thanks, John. Awesome. You're welcome. Calligraphy says, I think I watch too much YouTube. Most of it's the background noise when I work. So I listen to more than I watch. Yeah. I know the feeling. YouTube is always on my phone, on my iPad, on my computer. Petrona says, does anyone else notice in the aerial view that soon there won't be any green space left in Negril? With the many vast developments and new airport plan, Negril won't be known for a laid-back appeal. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case. There's still I want to say the stakeholders in Negril want Negril to remain low density. And we always say that we don't want to turn into a Miami. We don't want to have these high rises. None of that. We don't want to be that. Even though I mentioned in the beginning having parity between Hanover and Westmoreland with the building ordinance, I hope we don't see the day of 10-story, 20-story buildings on this beach. I hope because we want to remain unique. We want to remain environmentally friendly and environmentally focused, which I believe we still very much are here in Negril. Beach Rock Maxim says yes, has been to Jackie's on the Reef, so you're familiar with that road that I was talking about. What about talking to Matthew from Ross Kitchen? That would be awesome. Yeah, we can try and get him on there. I never thought of that. Taking a screenshot of that. Thank you, Joe. Calligraphy says Pelican Lookout looks really nice. Thanks. Yeah, it is. I've been there a few times. Haven't been there since before the pandemic. Haven't been a lot of places since before the pandemic, but we'll get to it. We'll get to it at some point. I am what I am. How's the situation with the Blue Lagoon in Portland going to affect development? I'm not sure. That's a good question. I need to follow up with SEMA and see where things are with that. Taking all these screenshots. All right, we'll make a note of that. Thank you for that. Chris says, run a boat with Jamaica Sunrise. He can teach you how to cook. Okay. I'm down with that. Ebony X says, so true. YouTube is I always watch a lot of YouTube from African. Okay, cool. All right, this was a great, amazing brainstorming session that I didn't know I needed. So thank you for that, everyone. I appreciate it. Carol says, how much would it cost to, say, build a small 2 to 3 bedroom home in Jamaica? I mean, really depends. Really depends. So, yeah, I can show you some. Let's show you some examples here. So, what was that? So if you are, for example, if you want to buy a house that's in a gated community, I'm just kind of bringing up different examples here. So this is West Isle. And so their 2 bedrooms are going for $203,000. We visited them during Throp X. This was part of the property tours. And let's see, can we get to this map here? View larger map. And you can kind of see where they're located in relation to Negril. So this is West Isle Homes and the grill's here. I would say it took us longer during the tour because I believe we were on a bus. We had a lot of people on there, and so we had to go slower. But I've done this drive without speeding to get to the roundabout. You're looking at about 15 minutes. I would say, obviously, petting traffic and all that. If you call it 15, 20 minutes. And again, they're going for 203,000 for a 2-bedroom option. This is what they look like inside. Let's see if they have the. Trying to see if they have the outside. So this is what it kind of looks like on the outside. Oh, here we go. Better idea, better view. This is development. They're much further along than this picture shows. Much, much further along. This is the layout of the development. And it seems like they have a lot more room for expansion. I'm not sure if that's the idea or that's a strategy, but at least that kind of gives you an idea of a location and a cost for being in a gated community with a turnkey solution, 200,000. So that seemed like a pretty good price to me. Pretty good price to me. Let's go back to this map here. So if you go to, let's go back to the Negril here. So here's the beach. Where are we at? Okay, here's the beach. This is the roundabout here. This is Nampro Road. And if we go here a little past Texaco gas station, where are we? Okay. Am I messing this up? Why do I? Okay, this is the right thing. Okay, so this is the Vista Bella development. And so these lots are, don't quote me on this, we're ballparking, eyeballing here. These lots are about 10,000 square feet, and they're going for about $100,000 US. And then you build your home from there. Another gated community that's they are moving quite fast over there. And I believe I told you we have property over there, but it's undeveloped. There is one house there. Here, there it is. There's one house there, and there are a few other houses that are building over there, but it's coming along. I don't know what the timeline is. I'm actually meeting with the developer this weekend. We're doing hopefully some collaboration. Hopefully, where they will be part of ThropX. I wanted them to be part of the tour of 2022, but he told me that he wasn't ready. But I told him this is like, you all are visionaries, and you don't need to necessarily see like a complete product or have it in its most polished form, but you can see the forest through the trees before you need to. Well, we don't need any more perspective is what I'm trying to say. And so he even still he didn't necessarily want to kind of bring everybody there at this point, but I will guarantee at the pace that they're moving of this development and the infrastructure that they're putting in place, that by ThropX 2023 we will be visiting there, so you could see. This could be a game changer for Negril, depending on how fast he moves, because as I mentioned, Negril has a housing crisis. Like, we don't have enough places for people to live, and especially modern accommodations virtually don't exist in Negril. Like, there is a handful. We have Little Bay Country Club, which is completely sold out. Point Village, mind-boggling prices, very limited inventory available. And then also Aqueducts is downtown Negril, the newest construction-ish, not the best location. We visited there as well. it brought perspective for everybody, kind of giving, and that's why we went to all these different types of places, even as far as Little London to West Isle, to bring perspective on the availability and what the housing inventory is like. There is huge opportunity. I don't know if there are any developers who are on the live stream right now, just like mega opportunity in Negril in respect to developing modern housing, especially for, I would say, somebody who perhaps is considering moving to Jamaica from, say, in New York City, San Francisco, and that is used to a certain level of just residence, home, modern accommodations, the best I can describe it. And so again, this could be a huge game changer. Obviously, this is not a turnkey solution. You'd have to build your home. You'd have to get contract, architectural drawings, all of that. But this is also something like all these elements that I just laid out, buying the land, all the, like, I'm trying to bring like all those people to the conference, and to be able to kind of have, like, you can see visually what players you need in what position and what you need to actually buy, like, say, buy this piece of land, build your home, and just kind of get into a situation where it does become turnkey. But again, I believe that this could be a real game changer here. It is going to be a game changer for sure. But I'm more in terms of, I don't know their timeline. And like I said, I'm having a meeting with him about something separately this weekend, and maybe I can get a better idea about that. So thank you for that question, Carol. Hopefully that brings you a little bit of perspective. Getting more recommendations here. Shenzhen is a good channel. Lenworth Lewis says, I don't mind the new hotel developments, but I do hope the beaches still provide public access like the 7 Mile. I don't see always. That would be crazy if they denied access on the beach. I can't see that happening, but honestly can't see that happening. But I hope that never happens. Shannon Love Coaching says, map time. Thropping his map. I love the maps. I love geography. Boom Knight says, my next visit is a JA family home at Lynch Top West End in the near future, and definitely going to catch up with you when that time comes. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Enrique says, yes, good ideas coming out. Definitely. Excuse me. If land is owned by family already, Carol asks, oh man, okay. You know what? Let me get back to you, because I was told the average cost of square footage construction, and I should know this at this point. I would say I did a video with, and sorry to redirect you, Havrika, I don't know if you could do that, the video with Andre. If you can put that in the comment section here. And Carol, and I'm redirecting you to this live stream interview that I did with this company, Ajawi Construction. This was just a couple of weeks ago. And Andre, the CEO and founder of the company, he goes into great detail of constructing homes. And he is on the higher end of the spectrum in terms of the cost, but he is excellent. I've never worked with him, but like the detail of his expertise was really up there, and even the level of transparency in which his business operates is something that I appreciated, and he really explained and broke that down. So I will redirect you to that interview, that live stream. And if you go on my channel, I'm sure Havrika will put that out shortly in the comment section. But if you can just go to my channel and you can see that interview, he'll explain it. I Am What I Am says, I love Ajawi's channel. He's a great YouTuber as well, but he really goes into breaking down the cost and this and that way better than I can. So I would just go there. You're welcome. No problem. Map time. Sorry, did that? Mr. Info says Mr. Info says, hi Throp, have you heard anything about China and the BRICS currency? Do you think Jamaica can benefit from it? Great question. I was like, so if you want anybody who's a channel member, you already know what I'm about to say. I think you watched it too, Shayna. So if you become a channel member, our Patreon, we have this thing called Team Stream, which me and the Throt Media team, we do a live stream, and we talk about each week a person has a responsibility of bringing a topic to the table that we don't know about everybody else except for that one person, and they bring this topic to the table and we talk about it and discuss it, and we don't know what it is. And so this week Candice brought that exactly this Jamaica possibly joining BRICS, and we talked about the possibility of China's currency, the yuan, becoming the reserve currency of the world and how that could affect Jamaica. We each had our own opinions, about it. It's where the way Jamaica is positioned, it seems like it would be a good thing. It seems like we'd be a good thing. I know we got a lot of Americans in here, but one of the things that came up in myself included, mind you, myself included, well, one of the things that came up in the discussion was Jamaica has been warned by America about China many times. But then I think, right, when we think about Jamaica, right, and like recently what's been going on, and the prime minister said himself, like, Jamaica is under construction, and it very much is. Like, I've never seen this much movement in terms of infrastructure in Jamaica in the last 5, 7, 10 years that I'm seeing now. And you're just hearing and seeing just more and more and more and more. It's like crazy. And a lot of the infrastructure that has been implemented recently was because of the Chinese. And obviously America is competing with the Chinese and a bit in perhaps you can call it a proxy war with China, and maybe even a Cold War. I don't know. There's definitely the technology war. There's no doubt about that. So what I'm trying to say is, it's like, man, and the other thing that came up, I think, on the live stream on Sunday was talking about Jamaica should be staying away from China. I forget who said it and exactly what they said, but my response to that was like, man, where would Jamaica be without China right now? How could Jamaica have done the road infrastructure that it has done without the Chinese? And if anybody has and I'm not being facetious or anything like that, but if anybody has an alternative solution or an alternative direction that Jamaica could have gone in order to have achieved what they have done so far, I'd like to know. And even now, I was listening to a podcast this morning about the fear, like the real fear that America has with China just being completely embedded in Africa. And basically, one of the main takeaways that I took away from listening to the podcast, that America is basically, or I should say China basically has a 20-year head start on America in terms of being in Africa. And Africa is recognized. Africa is the future. At the end of the day, Africa is the future. They have all of the minerals that we need for the technology of the future. Our cell phones, lithium batteries, cobalt, driving cars, flying cars, all this thing, like all of those minerals are in Africa. And so what China has been doing for the last 20 years, from a policy basis, they have been positioning themselves to really be at the forefront of these countries when it comes to being the first to the table to get these minerals. And they've been in the good graces of these African nations, and they've built out their infrastructure. And how the Americans woke up to this is when, please, I'm paraphrasing here, don't hold me to this, but basically there was I think it was like a UN meeting, UN conference, where all these nations around the world came together to condemn the war in Ukraine. And you could either vote against it, vote for it, or you can abstain. And there were like so many African countries abstained from voting against the war in Ukraine because they didn't want to basically ruin their good graces that they have with China. And that's when the Americans woke up to this idea of, man, we are way behind in Africa, and we need to be paying more attention to them. And so much so that they've sent Kamala Harris there 3 times in the last few months to 3 different African nations. So, and I'm not trying to formulate an opinion here. I'm just trying to build perspective more than anything else. And I don't know. And obviously I'm American and I want America to win, but it's like, man, they're making such silly, and this is in my mind, this is like they're making very silly mistakes. And it's just like, how could you have not been in Africa? And I will also, as I talk about Jamaica and the infrastructure, when I went to South Africa, their roads are amazing. Way better. Like, I wasn't, you call me ignorant, call me whatever, but like, this is Africa, right? And I wasn't expecting their infrastructure to be so advanced. Like, beautiful highways. I mean, I would assume hundreds of miles. Like, we drove all over Johannesburg. We went to Soweto on a coach bus. We went to Safari. We drove hundreds of miles, I would say, in total throughout South Africa. And the roads were spectacular, amazing, all done by Chinese. And the same question I pose is like, how else would these African nations have progressed and have these life-changing, generational life-changing infrastructures be put in place? It's a question, just a question. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the other way is. And when we look at Jamaica, when I think about Jamaica and people are saying the Chinese, but like, what else do we do? How else is and trust me, this is coming from somebody who is obviously very, very pro-America and always wants America to win. And I just have that patriotism in me, but like, I have to be objective. I have to be objective in this, in terms of trying to bring understanding to this. And it's just like, man, where is America? Where has America been in Africa? So especially, where's America been in Africa? But I don't know. I can't fault Jamaica, and I was thinking, man, because I used to think like, man, Jamaica's selling out. Jamaica is selling out and selling out to the Chinese. But what is the alternative solution? Where would they get these loans from to do this? And even the engineering that it took to do many parts of Highway 2000. Just questions to ponder. Let's get back to the chat here. Ms. Cole says, I agree, Throp. Chris Grant says, over the U.S. dead body war. I am what I am. Have you been following the protests in Paris? Blackstone Investments gobbling up U.S. real estate development and underdevelopment. The only thing I know about the protests in Paris was they raised the retirement age. That's the only thing I know. But yeah, please school me on that. I am what I am. Dr. Umar, we know who said it. Cold War for sure. Petrona says, since America has warned Jamaica about trading, etc., with China, why is Jamaica in bed with China, America near to Jamaica? Because my presumption in terms of Jamaica being with China, in bed with China, is because China is helping Jamaica in many ways. That's my presumption why they're in bed with them. However you feel about that relationship. Key FN says people are concerned about giving Jamaica away. Yeah, rightfully so. And not just to the Chinese, mind you, not just to the Chinese, but all I'll say with this is like this foreign direct investment is like, I think it's great for the country. I think it's phenomenal, but it's important to focus on the people who were born, bred, and grown here, like the average Jamaican. It's just like I want us to continue to think along those lines. And then also when it comes to competitive business practices, it's important, and I brought this up in a previous live stream, about allowing the previously established businesses some sort of incentive that is on par with the incentives given to foreign direct investors coming into Jamaica. We know that they get tax breaks, they get this and that, whatever it is that they get. Like, there should be some sort of leveling of the playing field of the players who are already here. And I'm speaking from a small hotelier's perspective. That's it. We have had movements in that direction in terms of evenness or parity with the Omnibus Act, which was, I think, a great move that has really helped small hotels, and we are definitely a beneficiary of that. So, hats off to the government for implementing that. And what Inam says, China is jamming up America's supply chain for everything from construction materials to pharmaceuticals. And then America is not letting them, holding them back on their semiconductor production, which is everything. Semiconductors is everything in technology, like everything. They're so hard to make. And America is, that's America's competitive advantage. And they're doing what they do as far as that's concerned. Ms. Cole says America was already in Africa, and we see how the story unfolded. And so that was the other thing that America, like in the podcast, they were talking about America's relation with Africa. And so, and this is according to the podcast, that they were saying America's relationship with Africa was more that of a security threat and with terrorism. That's how they did it. And like, whereas China's relationship with Africa was like invest in infrastructure, and they had this policy in China that encouraged / incentivized Chinese companies to go out in the world and to create these networks and build relations with these different nations with the private sector. And they're basically trying to build what they call, if you're familiar with the Silk Road, and in China, throughout China, they're trying to extend that throughout Africa with crazy infrastructure, with roads and rail, and they're putting billions and billions and billions of dollars into this thing. So it's just something to open our eyes. Like what's happening here is like, we got to think on like a really global macro level. Like, there is a lot of change happening here, and like things are happening at unprecedented levels. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I am very much paying attention. And I'm not like, I say, so we're paying attention like these major global economic factors, and knowing that this is not normal. This is not how I grew up, and America is the best, and it seems like things are trending in the direction, and almost in an inevitable way, that China is going to be the world leading power. And who knows what's going to happen with it in terms of China's currency being the reserve currency of the world. Interesting times, man. We got a lot of comments. This is what happens when we go down these go into these very taboo topics. I wouldn't say taboo topics, but hot topics. Beach Rock Maxim says, Throb, did you see the channel where Ziggy Marley was denied access from renting the Sea Salt Villa? The owner of the Sea Salt Villa said they don't rent to Jamaican. Nope. Sea Salt Villa, where is that? I did not see that. I'm screenshotting this so we can look into that. No, I didn't see that. Mr. Info says, I feel American turned their back on Jamaica and Chinese stepped in. I think so too. Like, that's you summed it up fairly well there, Mr. Info. That's exactly the way I feel. And I don't know. I don't know what the thinking was with that and what the strategy was, but they almost just let us go. Let Jamaica go. I don't know. And China just came right in. Inga Baby says, America and the UK didn't want to develop Jamaica. They need us to remain on our knees. At least the Chinese is helping with our infrastructure. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Now Jamaica is moving at a pace. It's moving at quite a pace. And same thing with the African nations. And it's so crazy. If you really think about it, right? It's like America could not be America without Africa. It could not be America without Black people. It could not be America without the people they enslaved. And America was very much so built on the backs of African slaves. Period, hands down, no question. And now we fast forward 400 something years later, Africa is literally the future. Literally the future. Talk about mind-boggling. And everything comes back to that. And America is, at least now, it's just not in a strong position in Africa, and China is. And you think about Africa being the way it is. I'm generalizing here. I'm not saying that there aren't thriving African nations and cities, but Africa is literally raped and pillaged of its people, its resources, its character, its culture. And now China has come in and has, in so many ways, accelerated the growth and forward movement of Africa. It wasn't America. And again, there was an example on the podcast. They were talking about the reporter, when he was studying at university, it took him hours to get to his school. And now it takes minutes because of the infrastructure of the roads. And the general sentiment of the people is just oh, this is thanks to China. So it's a very pro-China ideology there, because they can see what China did for them. And so they have a very positive outlook on China. Not in America, it's just China, oh my God, it's the worst. And, we got to look out for them. And I'm not saying that there isn't validity to that thinking and that mindset, but the point is that not everybody's thinking like America is thinking and like Americans are thinking. And you look at these different African nations and people are very pro-China because China has completely changed their life in a very positive way. And again, how would these nations move forward and give opportunity to different students? They're giving away all these scholarships to these young students in these African nations. What do you think that does to a kid that gets a full ride scholarship to a Chinese university from an African nation, and he perhaps grew up dirt poor, and he gets a full ride because of the Chinese government? That kid's never going to turn his back on China. Never. And you have a whole generation of people thinking like that. Come on, Chinese is playing chess, man. That's the thing with China. It's it's they are thinking in dynasty years. They're thinking in decades. They're thinking in terms of centuries. This is their culture. They're not thinking in a 4-year term presidency. They're not thinking in 10 years. They're thinking in centuries. And they are playing the long game. I read this. I'm gonna this will be my last little tangent here, and I'll kind of try to focus on getting through the comments. I read this book called I don't know if you guys know Ray Dalio. He is the founder of Bridgewater Capital, and he was talking about his relationship with China. They have multiple billions of dollars under management. And anyway, he was talking about his relationship with China. I forget the name of his second book, but his first book was called Principles. Absolutely phenomenal book on not only finance, but just operations of life in general and in business. So anyway, he was talking about his relationship with China that he had in the late 70s, I believe. And he had a meeting, I think it was in America in the 70s. And these Chinese executives came over And remember, China was extremely, extremely poor back then. And I forget what year it was, but there was like tens of millions of Chinese that literally starved to death. Like this is within some of our lifetimes here. Anyway, late 70s, he's in this meeting, Chinese executives in Texas, I believe, as a matter of fact. And the executive was completely blown away, fascinated by a pocket calculator. And he was just like, what is this machine? What is this mechanism? And I mean, we had Apple existed. We had computers. I want to say the internet just came out then, in America. And that just goes to show you how far ahead America was technology-wise at that point in time. And his point in bringing up this story was to show, and he brought it up several times, referencing back to that calculator example, and he was just showing how focused they were for such a long period of time, and now in 2023, or at the time when the book was written, that now they are competing directly head to head with America, and in some instances ahead of America. So it just, again, a different mindset, different approach to being competitive on many levels. Let's keep going here, and we got a lot of comments here. Andrew Blake says, in regards to Jamaica, UK, and US, you never know what you got till it's gone. These countries could have done exactly what the Chinese are doing. I can't agree with you more. And I don't know what the United States is going to do. And like you said with that podcast, America is 20 years behind in Africa. Can they catch up? Who knows? Ms. Cole says, at what cost are the Chinese in Jamaica? Who knows? I mean, that's a good question. At what cost? That's a great question. But at what cost would we, and where would we be without the Chinese in Jamaica? What would Jamaica look like right now without the Chinese? We have to ask that. We have to ask that question as well. And what I Nam says, it was already like that in 2002, 2003. When I lived in Accra, Ghana, every day there was a traffic jam on the road on the drive home, no different than any American metropolitan city. Ms. Cole says, don't think that they are being friendly. They're just being friendly. No, they are. They're not doing. This is not charity, mind you. They're not giving us these roads. We are paying for them on the back end. So as I understand it, like Highway 2000, these toll roads, like the Chinese are getting that. And they're Chinese roads and we're paying for them. And me individually, I will happily pay that. They are getting expensive from what I understand. I think last time I paid like $2,500 from Ochi or 2,000 and change from Ochi to Kingston for that road. But saved me a ton of time. And then those that can't afford to go on that highway, at least it takes me another car off of that road. And so that original road, there's less traffic. To me, it's a win-win. Beach Rock says, Jamaican do not have the money to invest into infrastructure. So the only way for us to move forward, to have outside investors, it's the same thing with local businesses. Annie, yeah, I agree. And like IMF, do we really want to go back there? Miss Perfectly Imperfect says China is only interested in becoming the next global superpower, and he's using less developed countries to get there. Won't argue with that, but are we getting what we need out of it? And I'm speaking specifically about Jamaica. KFN, you can't sell things twice. Once you sell it, it is gone. Boom Knight Jr. says, in my opinion, the way Jamaicans are behaving in some areas where crime is concerned, it's only a matter of time before someone steps in and says enough is enough. I'm assuming you meaning that the crime situation is a short-term problem. Petrona says, Jamaicans won't allow China to take over. We're a rebellious nation. China is enslaving Africans as we speak. I don't see how they're going to enslave Jamaicans. Like, I agree with you on that. That's not happening here in any way. They are KFN says they're building for their own gain. It's worth it for them to build. Sure, this is not charity. They're not here to lose. They're not here to lose money, and they're doing it for their own selfish reasons, just like we are in terms of accepting and working with them as well. Sonia Ross says the U.S. was only interested in taking African resources for centuries. They didn't care about the people or infrastructure, so China came in and took that opportunity. I agree. I mean, look at our history. Look at our history, man. And it's just so crazy. And again, just so ironic that this thing is coming full circle right now. Boom night. And I really think that that's the only way for things to turn around, especially from how I remember it from when I grew up in the 70s. I'm going to keep moving here. Ebony X says, make no mistake, when China builds infrastructure and any country, they want a return on their investment. They will take your land and ports if they, I guess, don't get repayments. Yeah, I'm sure there will be consequences if we don't pay them back. But as far as I know, the payback schedule and also how it's being done, it's and who knows what the future holds. Who knows what the future holds and what they can do, but so far so good. I'll say that. I'll say that. I am what I am. Observe what the public transportation in America built in Panama City over the last decade. Meanwhile, the U.S. can't finish the 4th Avenue subway in New York. Let's not get into New York's construction. It's abysmal. Big Ben says, hey, Throt, visiting Paris right now. Awesome, man. Hope you're having a good time. The protest and strike is because of retirement age, but things are getting back to normal, right? That's what I thought. That's what I understood it as. Thank you for that, Big Ben. Ebony X says, I think Jamaica is closer to China because of the long relationship between the two countries. Calligraphy says, and one country having so much monopoly doesn't concern you. Development is okay, but at what cost? I mean, sure. Again, I ask you, what is the alternative? What is the alternative? Like, you have a problem, or individuals have a problem with the setup, so to speak, and China being so embedded in Jamaica and in these African countries. What's the alternative? I haven't heard that yet. Maybe it's further down in the comments. Let's keep it moving. American don't want to help Jamaica. They have no interest in seeing a black man prosper. In fact, they do everything to prevent it. Chris Grant says, remember, all the proceeds from these highways goes back to China. Plus, they get beachfront properties in Jamaica. There we go. There is a price to pay on everything. According to people I spoke with in Panama, Americans started the Panama Canal but didn't finish it. It was built by the Panamanians and Jamaicans. A lot of Jamaicans were there as well. Cali, we haven't done well under the Europeans, so why not try the Chinese? Sonia says, and the U.S. and Europe contributed to the terrorism and destabilization of Africa. They caused all, if not most of the problems in Africa's had. Agreed. Throt went down a rabbit hole. Yeah, I did a big rabbit hole. I don't know how we got here, but we're here now. Thanks, Shayna. It's perfectly imperfect. The Villa claims they didn't. They rented Rita Marley a month before Ziggy made the comment about their policies. I don't see Ziggy as a tale teller, so who knows what happened. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Everybody says America was too busy destabilizing Jamaica and allowed China to step in. Sonia Ross says Jamaica just needed a helping hand and China gave it to them. Of course, Jamaica will have to pay the price for the help. Yep, agree. There's no question. There will be a price to pay, and we're paying it. We're literally paying it in dollars. I am what I am says the thinking behind America abandoning Jamaica was a result of Reagan's Caribbean Basin Initiative. Once the Berlin Wall fell, America said to hell with them. Boom Knight says same for the UK and how it is developed to where it is today. Inga Baby says Stevie Wonder can see that America and the UK only exploit all Caribbean and African for their own advancement. Not going to argue with that. Miss Perfectly Imperfect says, but the Chinese have contracts that would cripple nations for generations if they default. I only see the benefiting them benefiting in these scenarios. Kitty Abia says Jamaica has enough able, genius-minded engineers, builders, carpenters, etc. to build Jamaica. At least Jamaica government should be like Ethiopia and not sell and just lease the land. Even so, where are we getting the money to do this? Even if we had the engineers, mind you, we did not have the engineers, as far as I know, to do aspects of Highway 2000 because there were other international engineers that came in and said that it couldn't be done, and the Chinese figured it out and got it done. I Am What I Am. Remember Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth documentary that Africa is the future was the closing argument, but no, everybody voted for Bush Jr. and Ralph Nader. Kiss my teeth. Now we know Africa is the future. There's no question about it, and the U.S. is way, way, way behind the 8 ball. Inga Baby says the Chinese learn from the European. We as Black people need to think long term. I agree. Ebony X says same for the Brits. When they left Jamaica, they didn't leave the country with anything. Jamaica had to start from scratch. They are still trying to get it together. Romeo Denton says, do you think Americans and Europeans will feel mediocre if Black people in the West learn their actual history and achievements, such as a slave being responsible for a concept of vaccines? Interesting. I didn't know that. Kitty B says, Fidel Castro, Cuba met with Manley to assist Jamaica, and then the outside influence and support of an opposition to Manley. Excuse me, I Am What I Am. Chinese culture, procedures, precedes the birth of Christ by 10,000 years. So yeah, we're always going to be late to the party compared to them. Big Ben, I don't mind Jamaica getting help from China, but I think we should be careful not to allow China to take over, but the equal trade opportunities, because the last thing we want to is become is a minority for sure. I don't see any signs of that at this point, but like I said, China thinks long term. Chris Grant says is moving at a pace. Yes, as a result, these highways, the property values in Jamaica went sky high. Soon Jamaicans can't add Jamaica or afford Jamaica, maybe is what you're trying to say. I agree. Jamaica is going up. And we're just having this conversation. Man, and if you believe this, which I do, is that I believe that Jamaica's crime issue is it's a short-term problem. This is not going to be forever. I don't think that that's going to be the case. I have confidence that solutions are in the pipeline to address the Jamaican crime situation head on. And I believe that, and if that's my belief, think about, if that does come true, where would the prices of Jamaican real estate be if crime is under control? It would be, we're talking about Bahamas here. We're talking about Caymans here. It would be insane. And I hope and pray for that day. And like I said, I really hope that day comes sooner. But I do believe that day is ahead of us. Ingebabe says we just need to work on better paying jobs and the crime in Jamaica. Thank you. Took the words out of my mouth there. Kitty says hopefully it won't look like China's environment and Jamaica's natural beauty is ruined. Nope, I don't think we as Jamaicans would ever let that happen. Tisha Inna says it's a strategic plan to become the superpower. Yep, agreed. I don't think there's any question about that. I'll just call you D. That highway is pretty empty though, and pretty costly for the average Jamaican from Oshie to Kingston, then back. Yeah, I guess the emptiness doesn't really matter, right? It's to me, it's I won't argue with you that it's pricey, but it saves me time. It saves me ton of time. I'm just cruising, and I think it changed the way, and it just came in at a great time for me because when I first moved here and I started driving to Kingston from Negril, especially when I was on the executive body of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. I was in Kingston for meetings all the time, and that became my normal route to get to Kingston. So I didn't really have the experience that my dad had when he was going to Kingston and when we were kids visiting our grandmother and going the South Coast. I never take South Coast, and that is the road and way to get to Kingston from Negril, and from Kingston to Negril is South Coast. That's the original route. But that's me, new generation. That's not my route. That's not my experience. Ebony X says China will be the next superpower. Seems that way. Inga Baby says China is looking out for China's interest. Every other race look out for their interests except us Black people. I wish we came together a little bit more. That's for sure. Miss Perfectly Imperfect says the Jamaican government just got approved $1.7 billion from the IMF. Crazy. That's a lot of money. I don't know. What are they going to do with that? We can look into that. Ebony X says China is not a friend, but at this time they are lesser of the two evils. Fair enough. Ebony X says yes, Ebony, and military bases too. Romeo says China is overpopulated and understaffed, so they need places to dump their citizens. That's why they stuck the deal with the Jamaican government to get those large acres of land. Ebony X says China wants to be in the backyard of the U.S. True, and the Jamaicans also built the infrastructures in Costa Rica. Bev Smith says, good night, Throp. The U.S. sanctioned the former president of the Haitian Chamber of Deputies, Gary Bedu, for his extensive involvement in corruption. Do we have corruption in Jamaica? Yeah. Yeah, we got corruption in Jamaica. I don't know of a country that does. I mean, I'm sure there are countries that are corrupt free, but yeah, Jamaica has corruption. I don't think there's much denying that. It's all over the news. He says China is also building in Antigua as well, building in China, only areas as they have done so in Africa. I know this from my Antiguan mechanic. He was upset. Sorry, Bev. I want to go back to this because I just kind of breezed over it. Like, we have corruption, but like not Haiti corruption, like nowhere near that. Not South African corruption, nowhere near that. Is it like completely embedded in our society and culture and politics? Like, no, not at those levels. But does it exist? Yeah, let's not be. We live in the real world here. So I just want to be clear on that. Kitty B says, look at how Kagame built up. Rwanda, Jamaica can do the same. I agree. Ingrid said, even if we did have the engineers in Jamaica, the corruption is out of control. They wouldn't get anything done. Tish Innes says, I hope you are right, Throp. Jamaicans all over the world want a safer Jamaica to live and visit. I hope so. D says, but I'm glad for the road improvements, especially on the junction to Portland, yet they stopped construction and some parts are not finished from a few years. Ebony X says, I lived in Cayman Islands back in the early 80s when it didn't even have a stoplight. Now it's so much more than before. Joe says, we live in the U.S., just brainwashed about China. If we look at China objectively, are they really that bad? I think that, like, to me, one of the biggest problems with China is the human rights aspect of it. And I think that's where, and then the pollution, but and I have to say, like, the U.S., we've done our own dirt too, man. Like, do we really want to talk about human rights with the U.S.? Come on. Pollution with the U.S., like, a big part of global warming was the industrialization that the U.S. undertook over decades, and now we understand the damage. And this was really like my parents' generation. I'm not saying my parents did it, but their generation that caused global warming. And now China and India are in these growth phases, and they need to do their level of pollution in order to advance their society. So one of the arguments is like, who are we to tell them that they can't do XYZ because we already did it to the environment? That's a whole nother conversation. Sorry, let me get back up to these comments. D says, yes, I agree. It does save time. It just seems our peers underused. Maybe that was just what I see. But I would also say, like, it's part of a bigger picture, right? There's more road infrastructure coming. There is logistically there is so much more happening and going on, and that I think that highway is going to be very utilized at some point in time. And like, I don't necessarily need more cars on that road, I would say, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's not crowded at all. I can't deny that. Says Tisha says, when I was a child, I vividly remember it taking 2.5 hours from Montego Bay to Cave Valley in Hanover. Now it's like a little over an hour. I thank God for that highway. Agreed. Kitty says, whoa, a lot of money and way more debt. Shaking my head. Bev says, if property prices go sky high, what will be the price of food, energy, and services? Good question. Good question. I don't know. And what I know, America is the declining power. China is the already a superpower. Just look at their kids on TikTok versus ours. Yep. They might be banning TikTok, so we'll see. Zambia is a little China. I'm what I am says, thanks for clarifying the corruption question, Throp. Yeah, I did my best. Gita says the increase in crime is directly connected to the aggressive gentrification. Okay, Ingrid Baby says every government have corruption, but they still do what is best for their people. America is corrupt, but they still build a country where people can prosper. I think Jamaica is doing that as well. I also think on the other side, America is systemically racist, and it can be very hard to overcome that system. Very, very hard. It's not my eyes. My view is just like it's not what it seems to be, and not what But that's my opinion. How I feel. Lenworth says I took the old route from Ochi to Kingston through Fern Gully. Good memories for me, but my kids thought it was too long. On our way back, we took the new highway back, and it was beautiful. Nice. And what I am says Jamaicans still have a culture ethos of righteousness and good and general fairness. I agree with that. Kitty says, B says, an increase in crime is directly aggressive. I think we read that already. Bev says, but corruption is corruption. Increase in crime. We keeps reading the same thing over again. Ingrid Baby says, America have no right to talk with anyone about human rights. I agree. Amniak says, it seems as if they are setting up Jamaica to be a big player in the region. Yes. We always talk about the logistics hub. Yes. That's the way it seems. D says, makes sense. Over time, many cars will join in. Yeah, I think so. Ms. Cole says, everyone is in decline. I'm not sure what the context of that is. What I am says, Palestine, Ohio, and chemical spills, Flint, Michigan, water supply. America has its own environmental injustice problems to address in a big way. Talk about leaving citizens behind. Like, that stuff is crazy. How is this even happening in America, of all places? Calgary says, LOL, Throp, good charity on the corruption thing. Oh, I hope you mean clarity, not charity. Shayna Love Coach says, if you haven't already hit the like button, please hit it. Thank you very much, Shayna. That would be well appreciated. Lenworth Lewis says, I took the younger generation. I took the younger generation will be happy to pay the tolls to get around faster and most likely pay another 40 years to pay it back, probably. Gita B says, Jamaica needs to do as Garvey suggested and get out of their colonial way of thinking politically. What's the use of being independent if a government relies on another master? Fair enough. Ms. Cole says this eulogy people keep writing for America is crazy. Like, where is the facts that that's happening? What, that China's becoming the next superpower of the world? If that's what you mean, like that's happening. I don't think there's much question with that. And if you're referring to the how embedded they are in Africa and how involved and influential they are, it just is. That's just a fact. I'm not sure which way you're talking about as far as the eulogy with America. The one thing that America has over every single nation, and I can't see them giving up, is the military. There is no country in the world that can come close to America's military. Just can't. That's the one advantage that we have right now that is far and clear, and there's no question with, like, America can destroy any single nation in the world, and I don't think there is a single army that can go against America's army. And of course, we don't want that. This is my American arrogance coming in here, because we're in an age that it doesn't even matter, because all of these superpower countries have nuclear capabilities. So we don't even want to go down that route. What's up, Chad? Good to see you in the chat. D says, especially the water problems in Black areas of Michigan and Jackson, Mississippi. America needs to help all of its citizens. Last to speak on human treatment. Agreed. Real shame. Do we want to talk about the racial tensions? Won't go into that. That America is DOA. America isn't DOA. I mean, I would say it's more so it's in our lifetime, America is not going to be the superpower of the world. Economically, that is. It's just not going to be the superpower of the world. But it happens, it happens. This is not the first time where a changeover of this nature has occurred. America doesn't like it. They're fighting it like crazy. But we'll see. Kita says the United States is imploding and will collapse. I don't think so. I hope not. From a systemic standpoint, I think there is too much that America sits on as far as a foundation is concerned. At least that's what I believe. He says, are you sure about the military advantage? Just asking because I thought China and Russia was just as powerful. No, not even close. When you look at, military spend, and it's what we spend on the military. We can look it up real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, it comes down to the military spending. So if you look at this chart, countries with the highest military spending in the world, the U.S. spends $801 billion. China spends $293 billion. So it's just, they don't even spend half the amount that we spend on our military. That's what it comes down to. But that comes at a cost. That comes at a cost because we spend so much on our military, takes away from social programs, takes away from education, takes away from infrastructure. You talk about Flint, Michigan, and Palestine, Ohio, and what happened. It's just like, man, America is falling behind on its infrastructure. But yeah, that's why America is like the number one military power in the world by far, by a long shot. Ebony says they can't stop China from getting there. Babylon must fall. Kidia says United States. Oh, we read that already. Bev says Mr. Info, the petrodollar is dying. Beach Rock says bye Throp. Great interaction with you all. I'm checking out. I'm about to check out too. This has gone way longer than I thought we'd be going. Usually our Thursday live streams are like 90 minutes and we're done. Sometimes less, but we went down a crazy rabbit hole here, which I don't mind. I have editing to do, mind you, but we'll get there. People don't want to face the fact that America is in decline. The US dollar is sliding like it's on a banana peel. And yeah, I think the first thing is like recognizing this, that in many ways, like, I won't say America is in decline. I will not say that. I will say that, like, just China is pacing ahead of us. Like, and there's nothing wrong in admitting that, And like, yeah, and there are things in the U.S. that are declining, and we have a lot of issues, but we got to admit these kind of things in order to actually do something about it. I am what I am. I'll agree with Americans' hard power superiority. However, China's soft power wins because warfare in the 21st century must be asymmetrical by its very nature. Death by TikTok. Mr. Info said the petroleum dollar is losing its power. Lenworth Lewis says, on a different topic, do you know the percentage of homeowners in Jamaica that on the public water system versus wells? Have no idea. Have not a clue. I'm just going to screenshot that question. Kitty B says, trust U.S. cities are increasingly becoming unsustainable by the day. D says, great learning. Didn't know that the monetary spending is what counts. Yeah. This is like, it's just going into all the R&D. We got these predator drones, submarines. We got lasers now. Like, it's crazy. Inga Baby says, I'm trying to convince my husband to let's move back to Jamaica. Come on down, Inga. Hurricane Gilbert says, American military is spread too thin. Yeah, it's everywhere. But it's one of those things that, at least the Marines, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, but they are designed in a way that they can bring the entire Marine Corps to any part of the world within 24 hours, if I remember that correctly. Like that's how mobilized they are and technology they have to get that done. Excuse me. Romeo says the Jamaican government need to think long term. We have a monopoly on shipping goods. That's why the Chinese bought the port. What we need to do is a port of our own by the country itself and get a cut from the first. Okay. He says the United States is behind on infrastructure because of their wicked foundation and not respecting the indigenous people of the land. D says India is right behind China soon. It definitely is. Diane says throughout the North-South Highway is concession to CHEC, however. Bev says, what will the impact of Jamaica if the U.S. experience a financial and economic decline? I mean, we already know the answer to that. It ain't going to be good. Diane says, throughout the southern... Oh, I read that already. Sorry. Shayna Love Coaching says, this was a wonderful live stream, very organic with all the twists and turns. Tell me about it. This was good. We're wrapping up here. I promise. Comments keep coming in. All right, we're going to have to wrap up here. T says, the U.S. can afford 3 world wars at the same time and win. Pretty much. I am what I am says, America is the only industrialized democracy where the mortality rate has continued to rise post-COVID. If that ain't a decline, I don't know what is. Fair enough. Beth says, empires throughout history rise and fall. Very true. Very true. Like, there is no empire that has lasted forever. Like, leading empire has lasted forever. And there is no empire that has lasted forever. Diane says, on the North Coast Highway, on the North Coast, on the North-South Highway, doesn't owe any money to China. It's for construction. The concession is the repayment for the investment. Yep. Calligraphy. Did someone just ask if China is that bad? Which do you prefer, communism or democracy? That said, everyone I know that's visited China has glowing reviews of their vacation and the people. I want to go to China. I want to visit them. Maybe we gotta make a trip out there, see what's really popping, see what's really going on. Ebony X says, when America gets a cold, Jamaica gets pneumonia. Yep, we all know that. Bings Wilson says the Ukraine war is a front for the fact that the U.S. is losing their role as a bully superpower with the military capability. We all have more to worry about than what meets the eye. Agree. But, America's not afraid to use their military. First time on the channel. Gonna subscribe. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, Romeo. Would love to have you aboard. Welcome to the team. Welcome to the community. Capitalism kills. Capitalism also runs the world. It does. Okay, I think we're going to end it there. This was not expected, but this was cool. This was fun. I enjoyed this. I got to go get some food, and I don't think I'm going to be doing any more editing today. Maybe. No, I got to do some work. I got to get this. I got to get the Irie video out. Got to make the Saturday deadline, right? So that's the focus here. I don't want to do an all-nighter tomorrow. Got to get it done. Anyway, this was fun, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Thursday live stream. Unfortunately, this will be the last one for a long time, but I will see you on Saturday for the premiere of Jamaica with Irie. And then on Sunday, we'll see you for our live on the 7 Mile, our usual Sunday live stream. And we'll see you out there. Yes, please, everyone, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Thank you, Claudette. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you all this weekend. You're welcome, Joe. Yes, great discussion. Thank you for your input, Kitty. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you need to go get some sustenance. I do. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.